Good morning. It's Friday. I don't know why, but I got lots and lots of energy today. It could be a very manic show. Just warning you.
I'm not happy about that.
Why? It's good. Listen.
I never know what to expect.
Yeah, well, welcome to my life. I wake up every day. I don't know what to expect. I'm like, are we going to have a fun day today, brain? Yes, we're going to have a fun day today. And what are we going to do a bit later? I don't know. What do you want to do? That's my life. There's like 17 different things bumping around in my cranium the whole time. All right, so I've noticed something here at the Real Network. We've got these bathrooms, much bigger bathrooms than we've had before.
Okay.
Huge, big bathrooms. I don't know what the women's one's like, but it's always better than the men's one.
Okay.
Anyway, we've got 3 urinals.
Okay.
2 urinals. Then there's the stalls. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Okay, cool.
But the one in the corner, always door closed. Either someone is permanently shitting in there the whole time, or that's just locked because there's been a terrible accident.
Oh, my word.
And am I right? Guys, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Flex and James, the producers, they know what I mean. You know the one in the corner, right? Something's going on there. Maybe there was a murder.
Have you ever thought of like opening to see and just check what's going on?
What if it's still from like before and it's too much of a crime scene for anyone to have cleaned up? But
you know your people, Gareth, like opening
on the
things,
wall, and it's like
checking things, like going where the danger is. No.
I'm happy to never go there. But I sometimes walk in there. It's different. Like if you go to the bathroom and there's no one else in the bathroom, you might whistle. You don't mind if you pee and you fart while you pee. You don't think about it at all. But if you go in there and there's someone else, and because that door's always closed, I'm aware. So I'm like, well, maybe there is someone in there. Like, better behave myself. Am I right? James, this is a problem, right? Yeah, it's locked up there. No, it's not bad work conditions. Shut up, James. This has got nothing to do with your work conditions.
Could be someone's home. Relax.
Like how about you just don't come to work next week? Find someone else to do your job.
Oh, that's so interesting.
What's the labor law again? Who's the HR person? Ask Simphiwe. She has no idea. Like, we have no controls here in that department. And I feel so sorry. Listen, if you work for a big company in South Africa with a massive HR department and all kinds of rules, the ones, they all have to by law. They put up the terms and conditions of
employment. I wonder what they have, like
Labor
no
Relations
swearing,
Act.
no racial slurs.
I mean, what would we do without a bit of racism in our office, right?
I think someone's nickname is racist,
But Sims, I mean, you know what goes on in our office, right? And we can boast about this.
Oh my gosh. I would say if anyone listened to half of the things we say in our office, we would be cancelled the next day. We would be the poster company of what not to do at a company, what not to say. Like, you can't do X, Y, you can't do this and that. Like, we just say everything and anything.
Oh, there's Janine. She works with us as well. She says, send James into that room as a punishment. James, go and see what's happening.
Yeah, check it out. If someone's sleeping,
seriously,
don't wake them up.
Go in. Go in. Yeah, yes. Go in there right now and take your phone with you and film.
Please.
In case there's a body or something.
It's fine.
Then we know we mustn't go there either.
It's okay.
Just go and do it. Jesus, I mean, really. So I laughed. There's some very funny stuff going on the internet this morning while we were waiting for James to go and check out the closed bathroom stall. So Stephen King and Elon Musk have been having a go at each other, right? Very, very funny. So what happened was Stephen King went, Twitter, you bought it. We're going to call it whatever we want. Okay, Elon, you can't force us to call it X. So Elon goes, it hurts our feelings when you did name us. Isn't that beautiful? It's like the guy is like, he's up against one of the greatest writers. He's up against one of the greatest writers, I mean, in horror, right? And he's old and probably not as good anymore as he used to be, but still, he's Stephen King. And Elon just smashes him. It's just so funny. Anyway.
I love it.
So great. Okay, so lots of things to get into this morning. The Olympics officially start tonight. Are you excited?
Whoop, whoop. Yes. My timeline is full of Olympic posts. And for the first time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Olympic athletes are actually posting, like they're showing us the Olympic villa, the phones and
taking
the
the controls off.
Yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Now we're going to see what happens.
Right.
Now the after parties, who really gets
Yeah.
on with who.
Mhm.
So I'm super excited to just see what the next few weeks are gonna look like from
Me too.
Personal, like, oh my gosh, we just won or we lost or Team USA.
I'm so pleased that you brought that up, because the fact that they're able to post, I mean, first of all, how stupid that they weren't able to do that before. I mean, like, these are people who've achieved the greatest heights in terms of those kinds of achievements. Physical human achievements.
Mm-hmm.
They should be allowed to broadcast whatever the hell they want, and we can decide whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow them, or you don't have to.
Yes.
This idea that, like, they have to be coached to be also, really good media people. Everyone's a content creator. Everyone's an influencer. Everyone's a brand. No, how about you just a really cool athlete that everybody wants to follow because you're going to have sex with people in the Olympic Village? That's enough for some of us, right?
Yeah, they gave out so many condoms. I think like each athlete has gone like about 20 condoms each or 30, if I'm not mistaken. So we all know that they're going to get it on, even with those anti-sex beds. But I'm here for it. I'm like, live your best life. This is the best of the best in the world. Do you, boo-boo? And I'm not judging you.
Totally. So today we got Nik Rabinowitz popping in. That's going to be loads of fun. He is always a great addition to a Friday morning. So if you need to laugh and chill out and take the whole world less seriously, because maybe you've had a tough week, then Nik is the antidote to that. Lots of people on the internet talking about, I don't know why, but they're talking about Kamala Harris. Like, she's been there. You know what irritates me is, like, people are so dumb, right? Like, she's been there the whole time, and she never inspired so much as a single tweet from most people. Like, people didn't give a shit about her. Now, suddenly, you had all these people who are like, oh my God, I love Kamala. Well, it's a certain kind of person. It's a certain kind of West Coast white liberal woman. Let's be fair. Oh my God, I love Kamala so much. She's just the most incredible woman. You're like, what do you know about her? Crickets. Does she have a husband? Yeah, I think so. You know his name? No. Doug Emhoff. Does she have kids? Yeah, I think so. No,
nope.
She doesn't. Does she do anything? Apparently, like, this is the most amazing thing that's been revealed in the last week. And now, obviously, because inside the White House, there are people like,
Mm-hmm.
because all the Biden people are now out, right? So they know they've still got power for the next 6 months.
Yes.
Because they're not going to immediately turf them out onto the street. Like, they can't just send Joe straight to an old age home. So they're like, okay, Joe and his team, you're going to be here, but you're going to basically be coaching Kamala's team, and then we're just going to dump you. So they have nothing to lose. So now all the stories are coming out. So someone leaked yesterday, I thought this was hilarious, that apparently Kamala Harris had so little to do as vice president. Because what is a vice president? I mean, like, what is our deputy president doing? You don't know. I don't know. They don't even know. It's just it's a title, right? It's not a thing.
They just travel.
Yeah, they don't do anything. So
and that's it.
The vice president of the United States of America, do you know what she was doing in her office in the West Wing the whole time?
Party?
No, worse. Because if she was having parties, I'd say, all right, maybe she's cool. She's playing solitaire.
Aww.
She was sitting there in her office, ostensibly the second most powerful person in the world. Click, click, moving the cards. I think I got it. Oh my God, I'm doing so well. Fuck.
She's annoying.
Oh, she's so annoying.
She's very annoying.
I mean, listen, they're all annoying. All politicians are annoying.
No,
I'm not going to change my opinion.
With her laughing.
That voice and the way every sentence ends.
Have you seen her slogan? What her campaign slogan that she came up with during like his speech, one of his speeches, because now she's everywhere.
Yeah.
And she's like, America's not going to go back. And then you can see
We're
like
not gonna
that aha moment of, we're not going to go back. we're not gonna go back,
We're not
and that's
gonna
the
go
new slogan. And I'm like,
back.
oh,
but
yes.
she has a way of like sucking the air out of the room. And I promise you, I bumped into someone here in South Africa 2 days ago. She's pretending to be excited about Kamala Harris. She's pretending. You know how you can tell someone is pretending? Like, you know, when you ask one of your friends, hey, do you want to go and play paddle? And they go, yeah, sure, I'd love to. Like, that's my response if someone asks, do you want to play paddle? I still never played. So when someone goes, hey, Gareth, do you want to go play paddle? I go, well, look, I just go, no. But most people would go, yeah, and I'll have to check my diary.
Like when? Can I get back to you?
Right.
Like tomorrow. Okay, I'll see what I can do. You know, as soon as someone says, I'll see what I can do, I'll let you know.
It just means no. It means no, and it means they're dishonest. Just tell the truth. Like, how hard is it to do it? Also, your life is so much easier when you don't have to feel guilty about not getting back to someone about something, or you have to lie and then you have to remember the lie. And maybe that's why I'm so happy today and every other day, is because I don't carry around 10 billion lies that I have to remember. All you have to do is tell people the truth. No, I don't want to play paddle with you. It's not hard. You know what the worst is? They're going to be upset for those couple of seconds. They'll never ask you to paddle again, which will be a huge relief to you. But also, you don't have to carry that guilt. You've told them the truth. Now you can... It's so nice. These people are like, yeah, we should do lunch. Yeah, we should really do that. I'd love to see you again. And this is how people are with Kamala Harris. They're like, I'm so excited about Kamala. In fact, Chuck Schumer, I think it was Chuck Schumer, could have been someone else, some other bloody politician. He was sitting there and he announces, and we're all going to get behind Kamala Harris. And he starts going, he actually started clapping. No one else clapped. And he went, well, you're not clapping, but I'm going to clap. It's the saddest shit you've ever seen. You know when people are trying to convince you of something, but they're not even convinced? That's when you know you got to give up on that. It's like, guys, this is not a thing. It's not going to happen. I feel very, very sorry for anybody who has to go through that on a daily basis. It's so draining. How much energy that takes, right?
We'll see. I'm excited.
About Kamala?
No, just about the elections. No. I don't know too much about her, but the few videos I've seen, she's not my cup of tea. She's trying to be hip and cool, and I feel like Obama did that already, and he did it with like ease.
Well, he has charisma.
Yes, you know, and then with her, it's just like crackling. Yeah. Right? Oh. But what's very interesting, which I've noticed, I think this was all pre-planned, because everything is happening so fast. There was the Trump shooting, Jiggy, then Biden's like, I'm stepping out of the race. Jiggy, she's already gotten the votes. Jiggy, she has a $230 million budget for her campaign. Yeah. And everything is just like, wow. You know, and Joy's nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be heard. Like, we not seeing that old man. So I'm just like, I think they've planned this and now we're just seeing it unfold. But good luck. And, you know.
All right, let's move on.
Let's
bring we did it, Joe. We did it, Joe. It's just so bad. Ugh. Anyway. Ugh.
Put on to the next.
Oh. So bad. The prisoners in this country are out of control. Right?
Guys, arrest me. If that's how they're living, take me now. Take me now. Let me go. I'm ready.
Producer Flex showed me this video this morning from Sun City Prison here.
Yes.
You know they call it Sun City, but it's the main correctional facility in Johannesburg. These guys are so stupid. Like, they know Piet is now in charge, right? They know Piet Groenewald. And he's popular as hell. I don't know if you've seen, but he's like everybody's favorite minister suddenly.
Yes.
Because one thing we do know about this country is South Africans have had it up to here with criminals.
Yes.
Because every one of us has had shit stolen, or we've had much worse things than that happen.
Yes.
So we're all like a little bit sensitive on the crime thing. And then they put Piet in charge of prisons, and we're like, coming for you.
Go off,
Right?
King. Yes.
Right, exactly. So even though, I mean, like, if you'd ask me who the most popular minister would be, and you said it would be a guy from the Vryheidsfront Plus, I would have said to you, you're smoking some good shit. But that's what makes this country so amazing. That's what makes this country so fucking weird. And I love it. That's why I'm here, and I'll never go anywhere else. Anyway, so in the prison, here's the video that's got everyone on the internet mad as hell. Because these guys are living it up. They got PlayStations.
Hey, they have Wi-Fi. As I said, guys, they're living a better life than we are. Like, they are like, you guys are stressing about traffic? What's that?
They don't have to work.
3-course meals.
They don't have to work.
I'm chilling like a villain.
Yeah.
Hey, I have everything at my disposal. Hello, guys. If that's the life, take me now.
And they do
take me now.
They do get free massages, although sometimes that's against their will.
I'm just saying, if they're living so nice, you don't need to stress about any bills, any debit orders.
Nothing.
Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Maybe crime is worth it.
If you want a stress-free life, then try crime. I mean, did you get that picture I sent you about how when God sends you a message? Just see if you, I don't know, if I didn't send it to you, then that's my fault. But yeah. If the universe had got, I could really use a sign, God, and the universe says, why not try? And the next category, crime. No, that's exactly right. Because here in South Africa, that's what it'll get you. Flex, pass that video, because people who don't know and haven't seen it they'll understand the context for why this is such a big story in this country right now. Take a look at this.
Yeah, hello haters. You put us in prison and you think we are suffering. No, my brother, we are doing extremely fine. Look how happy we are. This morning we had breakfast, and in the afternoon we had lunch, and we had supper, and we are about to have dinner, my bro. We are doing extremely fine. We are not even suffering at all. We are happy. And look here, we are not even paying rent. No. We're not buying electricity. No. Nothing, my brother. We don't even cook food. They give us food for free. We don't even cook. Yeah, the difference is the same, my brother. No, we are not. No, my brother. We don't need toiletries. We give for free. And the education is going to be free in prison. We're not suffering. We're not suffering. If you think we are suffering, no, my brother. You are wrong. Yeah, you know. Very wrong. Look how happy.
Guys.
I love that.
You think we are suffering? You think we are suffering? That man told us, it is nice. We eat like a fucking knife. That's what he said to us. Guys. He's like, we don't need to pay rent. We don't need to pay toiletries. Hey, people cook for us.
I love that. I love that. And obviously that guy's dead now. The rest of them killed him.
He's ruined it for everyone.
Because now they've gone in and they raided the place, right? So they took out everything. But they found like TVs. I've told you I got a shit TV, but I guarantee you every one of those TVs they pulled out of this way better than mine. PlayStations, condoms, liquor,
of course,
drugs, plenty of that.
You know what I was surprised with? Nail polish and acrylics. I was like, okay, kings, like who's getting their nails done? Like who's getting the mani and the pedi? Like,
what else are they going to do? You got to have a mani and pedi. Have you ever met a bored Joburg housewife who also doesn't have a job and doesn't have to worry about cooking and cleaning? Guess what she does? She goes gets her nails done. Same thing for the prisoners. You know?
Yeah, I'm glad that they did the raid. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. I hope that this is going to be the new standard now, that it's not nice living anymore.
Well, when Piet's going to go in there,
he must go. He has my full support.
What the fuck are you on? Imagine him. What the donor muscular? Like all these guys are like, we're not suffering.
Ah,
Yes,
You're not suffering.
Here he comes. Oh my God, I think that's so great.
You have our vote. Go do it. Go do it. Go do it. Because we are suffering and we are on the outside world. So please.
Yeah. How wild is that? I mean, these guys have a better life than most of us who are supposedly free, huh? Just think about that. We have to work, we have to pay the bills, we don't get anything for free. We pay the rent, all that stuff. These guys are like living
just their best life.
And they're the ones who broke all the rules. It does make you think it's all a little bit perverse. Okay, so speaking of prisons, apparently there's a Brazilian prison that is using geese for the guards. Now, geese can be pretty aggressive. I've got friends who've got geese, and they're better watchdogs than dogs in some cases. So I don't disbelieve this, but where is this in Brazil?
Yeah, so this is a Brazilian prison, and like about 15 years ago, they used to have guard dogs, and then they were like, no, but the guard dogs are too expensive. They can be bribed, like just a whole lot, going on there. But the geese, like they're hateful, they're assholes, they make noise, very territorial, and ever since they've kind of placed them by the fence, they have not experienced a jailbreak.
Yeah.
So they're doing
Geese.
a great job. Yeah, they have about 500 geese.
Listen, those things are vicious, eh?
And every time a prisoner tries to escape, they met with one of those things.
I know. They make sort of a honking noise. It's but they are aggressive. Like, don't think just because it's a goose, it's not going to try and savage you. And they've got those claws.
Yes. So
spur-wing geese have got them
quite
on the
alert
on the wing as well. They've got it on that. There's some vicious looking fucking geese.
So
tell you what, you take your life in your hands.
Yes, so that's where they kind of
Look at them.
That's where they got.
They put them in between the fences, and these things are like quack, 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 quack.
And if you try just one mistake, it's done with you. And they've seen, no jailbreak. So maybe this is what we should also adapt in South A. I don't know, with all the smuggling that takes place in the jail.
Yeah. Well, Pete, here's an idea for you from Simphiwe. Hey, Ben, what's happening?
Hello, Ben.
Hey, guys.
Why do you look so startled, Ben? What happened?
I just do always feel a little startled.
Ben just sat down. Ben just
I wasn't expecting to see myself on the screen that quickly.
Ben was like, shit, that's what I look like. I mean, come on, you've done this show for a while now. Surely you're not surprised.
I was just trying to ease into it so my microphone's in the right place, and then suddenly there I was.
Right. So, all right. Listen, you've promised me, because Ben and I were talking earlier this week. He's like, we're going big on the Olympics this week. Simphiwe and I were already both talking about how much we're into it, just because the athletes seemingly are able to post stuff this time. We're getting into the Olympic Village. We're seeing the behind the scenes stuff, which I don't know if there was a moratorium on it before or whether it was just each athlete decided that they were rather not going to do this in a team, and they'd abdicate that responsibility to some media person who made it boring as fuck. But now finally we're actually in there with the athletes, and we're going to see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, which I think will be a whole lot more. Because how many of us are ever going to get there, right?
Well, zero.
Let's
go with zero.
Yeah.
But also,
we want to know. It's like you want to know what's at Camp David, where President Biden went to go and train for the debate that he fucked up so badly. You want to know what's there, even though none of us will be invited to Camp David. Don't you want to know what's going on? Of course you do. Same with the Olympic Village. We want to know what's going on. This is probably our best chance.
Well, also because the last Olympics didn't really happen because it was a COVID Olympics. So it was there and thereabouts. But so the last time we actually got excited by the Olympics was 2016. So it's a long time ago.
I mean, we barely had social media.
Yeah.
Precisely. And it was in Rio. It was great. But so we had this big lull. And now here we have it, Paris 2024.
Right.
And then last night, because the Blitzbox suddenly out of nowhere played a game of their lives, they're in the shot for a medal. So early excitement for South Africans in a big way. It's just so damn exciting.
Awesome. Okay, so what events are we most excited about? We know we got the opening ceremony tonight.
8:00.
Yes. And the French will put on a good show. I mean, apart from all the knife crime in Paris, it should be a good show. They made the Eiffel Tower look really sexy with those 5 rings the other day. There was someone who took a beautiful picture of the moon inside of one of the rings. It was all very lovely and very French. So what exactly do we have to plot out here in terms of our investment of time and what we should prioritize?
Well, first of all, this opening ceremony is going to be insane. The first time it's not in the stadium, it's on the actual river, on the Seine.
That's amazing. Right. So it's insane.
It's insane what they're doing. It really is. It's going to be tonight, 8 o'clock. It'll be 4
Ben was
hours.
waiting with that joke. Was
4 hours long.
He really penned that 4 days ago, and he's been sitting on it the whole time.
Nah, just this morning. But it'll be the first time outside, and it's incredible what they are trying to do here. So it'll be 4 hours long. 6 kilometers in length will be the opening ceremony, which will involve 85 boats. There'll be 3 helicopters, there'll be 8 drones, and there'll be 200 smartphones on all the boats, so you miss nothing.
Wow.
You'll be able to see a ball scratch, you'll be able to see a wave, everything, because everything's going to be covered.
That's amazing.
About 10,500 athletes will be put onto these boats and pushed down the Seine, and there's going to be 326,000 spectators watching all of this live, of which 222,000 have got free tickets. So it's quite a spectacle like we've never seen before, actually. And it kind of needs to be, considering the fact that, like I said, Tokyo was a COVID games.
Nice.
I'm very excited. Okay, so apart from the athletes and the events, there's always a lot of excitement around the Olympics because the whole world's focused on this. It brings like national competition to the fore. There are countries here that never get to compete in any of the other stuff. Like, you never heard of Uzbekistan's like rugby team, or Turkmenistan, or Tajikistan, and those are just the stans. I mean, don't get me started on the others.
You'll see stans that you've never seen before.
There's a lot of stans,
and then you also get those other little island countries that you didn't think were island countries. They were like sort of like Commonwealth throwaways from a time far ago. So what you got to do is, and I would love to give you information and try and be the sports person that knows everything, but you've got to get the Paris 2024 app. They have an app? It is sensational, Simphiwe. Look, I mean,
this is the first time ever
there's Lady Gaga
didn't know about an app before anyone else on the show. Normally she's like, I got the app already. What are you talking about? I had it for 6 weeks.
It's just like the schedule is all there.
Okay.
Obviously, everything about, say, like the opening ceremony, so you get good articles. They'll give you basically like where the torch is before it comes into the Seine. You'll learn all about the events. There's obviously media on a daily basis, but the schedule thing is so cool. So every single day you can see what the events are, what the medal events are.
Right.
So today, for example, there's bugger all happening. There's a bit of shooting going on. So that's fine. We'll skip that opening ceremony. Then tomorrow there's about 7,000 events taking place. And you can go, cool, I just want to see the medal things. So you touch the medal button. Obviously you can't see it, but you just touch the medal button. It tells you exactly what time people will be fighting for medals.
Look at you even showing us. Just show us again.
Well, it didn't kind of work, but so far.
Okay. No, but the way you pressed, it was all very convincing. I like that a lot. All right, good stuff.
Yeah, guys. I mean, it's just, this is as exciting as it gets. And of course, when it comes to sports that you need to look out for, there's going to be 32 different sports. Obviously, some of those are going to be super boring and shitty.
Yes.
Some of them are going to be absolutely
What's
incredible.
the worst, do you think?
I really think it's... Well, I say it's football because it shouldn't be there. Same with tennis. It's just another event.
What
Why
about
is it
those
there?
middle distance? I mean, the ones middle distance.
10,000 meters in the track.
Yeah, nobody really cares.
Until the final bell.
There's skating now as well, hey?
They're skateboarding in like a street circuit and then on one of those sort of ball circuits.
It could be good. I mean, you could get some really cool tricks. But you know, most of those people are already doing like TikTok videos and Instagram anyway. You won't see better than that at the Olympics because they've got more time and they can get it right. I also think, so I'm really into, I'll tell you which ones I'm going to enjoy watching. I'm going to enjoy, I love seeing the 100-meter sprints, obviously.
I love the pinnacle event.
I love long jump and high jump and pole vault and those things because they're like, it's just unfathomable how high and how far these people can go.
Yes.
Shot put's interesting.
Yes.
Because of the characters as well.
Yes. The people themselves.
The female shot put.
Extraordinary.
You won't see women like that elsewhere.
Outside of Centurion, Builder's Warehouse on a Saturday.
Outside of there, you won't see.
I promise you. Actually, no. Yeah, I see a lot of those women. End of the month.
Not your type.
Yes. No. End of the month. Part 2 aisle. That's where they are. You want to recruit for the shot put team? By the way, how the hell do we never win shot put if those women are just waiting to be
It's actually
selected?
a very good
And
point.
it's a travesty of justice. They go there every Saturday. All we need is Gates and McKenzie to stand at the entrance of the Builders Warehouse.
Stand
and
there
I
with
promise
biltong.
you,
Stand there with loose biltong.
loose biltong in just in your hand, and they'll come right just for it. They'll just come for it. And then we have shot put. We can win every possible way in the shot put.
Yeah, so there's
Every
obviously
weight category.
obviously like track and field is a real big deal. So that's not
Yes.
going to start until a little bit later.
Yeah.
So you'll get the swimming first. I mean, swimming's mostly
Love
also
swimming.
quite boring.
It's boring, but
No!
we win.
So people, do you enjoy the swimming until they get into the water, or do you enjoy it all the way through?
Like all the way through. Like even the relay with the swimming and whatnot. Like it's really nice
Why
to
did
watch.
you do this with your hands? Like there's a change with a baton.
Like,
They just dive in after each other. There's no batons.
like swimming is great. I'll tell you. Gymnastics,
Yes,
love it.
phenomenal.
What else? Okay, all the running events, all of them.
All of them.
Sprints, the relay, the 200-meter 5. It's amazing. Like, and we always know it's Jamaica taking it. You know,
Pretty much.
like
Yeah.
They're genetically inclined to
Or
do
Kenya.
okay, like it's like wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like those are like my top ones that I watch.
so. Okay, so you guys have missed out on the best ones. Obviously, diving.
That's
Okay.
good.
Diving's
okay.
phenomenal
I like
because
diving,
you get
yeah.
like the high board and you get the low springboard.
Yeah.
Everyone's in great shape. They're all good-looking human beings. And
Lito
then-
says, let's talk about the looks of these athletes, please. And that's a very good point because, I mean, these people have just achieved the pinnacle of human physical
Yes.
prowess,
Yes.
right? There's nothing better. So,
Maybe not the
When-
shot putters, but yes.
well,
mostly.
I mean, the shot put is in terms of how much they can put the ballast
How much
behind
they
that
can push.
shot. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. And
ballast is not a very sexy thing to do. Like she can ballast. Tell you what.
listen, not for you maybe, Ben, but for some people, that's
No, it's
all
true.
they're
I
after.
mean, if you deal
know?
with fish for a living, maybe then that could also be the thing.
Sure.
You work in
And-
manual labor.
And I think that the greatest bodies have got to be swimming,
Yes.
the decathletes, obviously, because they can do all the things,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So the decathlon, the swimming, the
Sprinting.
gymnastics, because my God, those people can move like in ways.
But
I,
they also, but like,
Yeah, but the gymnasts are got weird builds.
you
Yeah,
think
because-
it's weird?
Because
Yeah.
ultimately, like all the females, they get to the age of 12 and then they just don't grow any further because they
Yeah,
get
they're always a
stunted
And
little
then they have
pint
muscles.
mentally,
sized.
Yeah.
socially, physically,
they just like,
emotionally.
Okay, all right. You've turned me off the gym.
So-
I'll
so
stop watching
Like,
that.
Sorry.
divers have the best bodies. I mean,
Yeah,
Turkish
probably.
Jason Statham, he was a diver originally, and that's
Okay.
how he got into being an action
Really?
hero.
That I did not know.
okay.
You see, you taught me about the links last week. By the way, I watched the golf. I have a bone to
phenomenal.
pick with you.
Ooh.
No, I watched on Sunday, expecting not very much because you said to me it's cold and blistering and not
It's a
particular.
battle of attrition, as they
Yeah,
say in the
right.
classics, Cliff.
So I watched it. I've never seen such a depressing landscape in my life.
Ooh.
Yes, that's
I
Scottish
mean-
summer. There you go.
Verdun after World War One looked positively beautiful by comparison.
But it's a battlefield, links golf.
Oh,
That's why if you care about golf, everything about that tournament is phenomenal.
yes.
Because normally in you guys picturesque, pristine American courses, the ball bounces and it stops. Whereas in Scotland, the ball bounces and then the trouble begins because it rolls into burrows and it's just
Those
incredible.
bunkers are
and the
horrific.
bunkers and the wind and
I had
then,
a bunker called the Coffin Bunker.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Or you go in there, you did.
Simphiwe was bad. Anyway,
And that
but
was
we digress. But we digress. You and I can talk about golf. I know you.
After
you,
the show,
you
we're
just want to
gonna
get
have
into it.
coffee,
That's cool. We
just
can get
the
into
two
more.
of
Of
us, golf.
That's right.
Okay,
Ben,
so
we'll do it.
so we go through the best events now.
Hmm.
Yes.
Track cycling is something that everyone has to watch. It is so cool
Mhm.
because they have those banked up walls. So you
Mhm.
go up and it's very, very fast, and you get like the team and you get individuals, and then they go split screen and then they race each other. And that is so fun. You won't see it anywhere else.
Okay.
But weightlifting, guys, has to be the most pinnacle of Olympic
Well,
sports.
Janine says in the comments, remember Beijing, that guy's arm broke
Yeah.
while he was doing the deadlift. Yeah, that was pretty hectic.
So the thing about the
Yeah.
weightlifting is you want to see high stakes.
Mhm.
Now, these weightlifters, a lot of them also come from these funny stans, right?
Hmm.
And like I always think of it like that scene in Borat. You got
Mm.
these coaches like an Azamat who's like slapping you about the
Yes,
face, and
yeah.
then you get the smelling salts. These guys are psyched up because in that time there, once they get to that place where they pick up the weight and they're trying everything, anything can happen, right? They can be absolute heroes. They could shit their pants. They could break limbs. Their hemorrhoids could explode.
Yes.
There is so much that could happen at any moment in weightlifting. And that is, for me, is just the most box office of entertainment.
I agree.
And you get these tiny people who weigh 50 kilograms who can then push, they're like ants. They can push like 3 times their body weight above their head.
Carl says, no, the most visually appealing are the beach volleyball players. Those women are always hot. The Brazilians, oh my God.
Yeah, Carl, it's picture
Fair
for
point.
a guy who's going to watch the beach volleyball.
Yeah, but Carl will do
I'm
anything.
surprised you guys don't name netball. I know a lot of guys watch netball.
So getting there, netball is not a sport. Volleyball, I think, is what you're going for.
Yeah, netball's actually not a sport.
It's not in the Olympics.
No. Sorry, Simphiwe.
Sorry,
We've really
Simphiwe.
burst your bubble there. Look, she's very
That's
depressed.
the saddest I've seen you on the show. No,
Pretty
netball's
sure.
not in there. But I mean, it's
That's the picture you chose?
It's got grounds to be in there.
I'm sorry, that's the picture? That's the picture you chose? You chose the shot putter who's playing beach volleyball? Now we know what you're into, Flex. Yes, sis. All right.
So those are your sort of big ones. There's BMX stuff, which I find also quite interesting because the BMX racing,
Okay.
that's also like high octane, big stakes. We've got a South African woman in there who was a child at the last Olympics, so she's going to be like flying the flag there.
Okay.
And there's breakdancing. So every Olympics they're going to throw something in there to capture the youth and talk about. I mean, because obviously,
Put nipple in, please.
I mean, like you want to do something to attract the youth in Paris, and you can't have knife crime because that's a bit fatal.
No.
So they've gone for breaking, which is what it's called.
Yeah.
And you'd rather have netball.
I'd rather. It's much more fast paced. It's much more interesting.
Fast paced. These people are breakdancing. They're doing somersaults. They're
Yeah, but you
spinning
can
on their
see that in
heads.
Braamfontein if you just do some like
see.
tick.
Even me, I can do something and just be like,
promise
great.
you.
Like,
I had
no.
no idea you were such a netball fan.
Yeah.
I'm
She's
just
very
saying.
upset that netball isn't a
It's,
sport.
it's quite exciting. I swear the last one was there, right? It's been there before. Why do I associate Olympics with netball?
I always thought it was there, but like I've done my research this week. It's definitely not a sport.
Ooh. Someone suggested, how about you get the ladies, in inverted commas, from Bangkok playing ping pong? Now that would...
Some of them do.
I mean,
Some of
that's
them
a
do.
real skill.
But also,
Right.
like, absolute credit to the IOC. There'll be no dicks in the chicks events.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the
Okay,
swimming,
good.
the weightlifting,
Okay,
it's
good.
all
Thank
women.
you. Thank
Good.
you.
So that we
It's-
actually have women
Competing.
being
Thank
able
you.
to compete fairly against other women and winning.
Thank you.
That's what a
Right.
sporting pinnacle is.
Yeah.
And it's great that they've taken that stance. They haven't gone with
Good.
those, but we're so inclusive as an Olympic
Oh,
sport.
wow.
Bullshit.
We don't need that.
Won't have any of that shit.
But
That's straight out of
sidebar-
America, and other countries just don't believe that.
I think,
You imagine telling the people from Turkmenistan. Imagine you go to Azamat from Turkmenistan. You say, "Look, we've got the woman. She compete against you. Must not slap her too hard." Oh, it's not going to happen.
But sidebar, I will say, one thing that has caught my attention is the Olympic outfits as well that they've been showing off.
I hope ours are. I hope ours are.
I don't know. I haven't seen
Guys,
ours. It's
let's
not in my
get
top 5.
Let's not get excited about what ours looked like. Remember in Rio what we looked like?
We had those
Those
tracksuits.
Ninja Turtle tracksuits that Fakila and his mates bought in China, Hong Kong, whatever.
Yes, and then charged us 5 million rand each.
And
for-
there was all 7 sizes too big.
Oh, it was so bad. They looked like those tracksuits that, like, poor whites from Pretoria West still wear because they're
And they're always
outfit.
barefoot in. Yeah. The ones that are always barefoot
Yeah.
in. There's like a rip on the leg.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean,
And they have like coffee stains and God knows what other kinds of stains all over them. That's what they look like. Just as people were upset. Do you remember how angry
Which was so
the
demoralizing for a
whole of
nation.
South
though.
Africa was like? How can you make our athletes look so terrible? I mean, the last thing you want to do with the people who are there to represent us as sport heroes is to dress them like they're going to Brakpan for a night of gambling and
Yeah.
steak at Spur.
All ill-fitting. Like everyone,
So
they were disastrous.
No,
It was like a Gupta sports brand, I think.
definitely. Yeah, we didn't even know what brand it was.
I think it was called 361.
Yes, it was cuck.
361.
So we can only do.
Wait, the name said it all.
We can,
361.
so we can only do better than that, right?
I think so, but I haven't seen the essay kit.
No, they'll only show us when it happens.
No, but I've seen some of the pictures
They got to
for
keep
like
it
the
secret.
podium looks or whatever. My top countries is Spain. They have like this red and white going on. There was a sports company called Joma, I think, that created the looks. Amazing. The USA looks really nice. They have like this blazer, but also like
They always go for kind of like a Ralph Lauren kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
then
good.
wait.
You got to show on your own screen here. Can we get these up in there?
No, I just sent it to James now.
Oh,
Right,
okay. Well, they might get that next hour.
And then there's
Hey, Boiled Prawn Shack says, I was deep in Pretoria West yesterday through the Dustport Tunnel. Different world out there, guys.
hectic.
What were the tracksuits like? Any 361 tracksuits knocking around?
Hey, listen, Pretoria's taking a lot of strain this morning with me saying those things about Builders Warehouse and Centurion and now
It's
Pretoria
a
West.
phenomenal place.
It really is. I mean, you've spent a lot of time at Loftus, but other than that, you've also had fun there.
Loftus is like the Saint-Tropez compared to the places that you mentioned.
Sunil says, I think she just likes Spanish men. It's not the clothes. Yeah, that's also true, Simphiwe.
Well, once James has put up the image,
Yeah,
you'll
guys,
see why
it's a whole
I
break.
like the outfits. The outfits are great. Like, I think this is what I'd wear on a random day, not even just...
But it should
You know?
be, right? Because it's the national pride thing again.
Yes.
Don't give them a tracksuit. We get it. We know they're athletes. You have to put them in a tracksuit and know they're athletes. Put them in some nice gear. Like
Agreed.
the French are going to do something special, I'm sure. They're going to have nice.
Oh, they have like this dope jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
That has the Olympic sign at the back. And then it's white and then it says France. I was like, okay, I'd like this jacket. It's like a leather jacket.
Oh, nice.
And then they have like they official outfits for the Olympics, like this blue blazer. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that's cool. That's nice.
See, and unlike our athletes, they don't have to give the jacket to the minister afterwards. We're going to have to take that back now. I'm afraid that you just got to wear it for the opening ceremony.
Guys, can we get into the rest of the sport? Otherwise, it's going to be 7 o'clock.
Oh,
and then...
sorry, Ben.
No, but I mean, like last time I was here, you almost cut me short. And you're like, no, we
you're
have to
right.
stop
Let's
here.
do this properly. So beyond the
that's
scoreboard,
Spain.
It's not even my show. I've got to run this
nice.
time
You
thing
see
here.
what I mean?
that's nice.
That's the
Simphiwe.
Spain like podium.
Yoma.
That's good.
It's very nice. Oh, Mongolia, I think.
Mongolia, yeah.
Yo, I was like, okay, royalty.
That looks
Let's
like
go.
the most awesome
good.
movie that's about to happen.
Yeah,
Let's go.
That
USA.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
That actually looks like a Will Ferrell movie about to happen. They're like
Yeah, it does.
pseudo NASCAR drivers.
Okay, that's good though.
Yeah, like that's not
cool.
bad.
All right.
These are my top picks for the.
You know what? You know the stuff. You know Feshini better than me.
I mean, I'm all for the US thing. If it was down to Kamala Harris, there would have been burkas.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. Beyond the Scoreboard with Ben is powered by Superbets. We've talked about the Paris Olympics, but what else do you have for us, Ben?
Gareth, there's an incredible sporting weekend despite just the Olympics. So let's actually just start with the UFC. It is UFC 304 and it's in Manchester.
Oh,
Can you imagine how drunk and messed these oaks are going to get? And this is the funny part about that.
in Manchester.
So key Manchester, right? They'll go out for like a chip sandwich, whatever, and stuff their face with saturated fats. But the main card only starts at 4 a.m. because on American
I
time.
thought you said the main fights outside the stadium.
It probably will be. But this is
What
how,
you say to me, Clara? Come over there. Don't make me come over there.
so all these orange people are going to get
do ya?
they're going to get so wrecked as they normally do on a Saturday. Okay, now they've all saved up to go to Manchester UFC 304, but it's on American time, so they're going to peak around midnight and then they're going to fall asleep. So if you watch the stadium itself, because the main card only starts at 4 a.m. These oaks are going to be they'll need to find their third wind by the time that Paddy the Baddy Pimlet comes out. It's going to be amazing entertainment. So the main card, there's 3 particular fights you should watch out for. Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimlet in the lightweight division.
Mhm.
Then we got Tom Aspinall. So what the UFC does is they try to have as many local people on a card. So if they go to Manchester, you're not going to see guys from Turkmenistan fighting against guys from Estonia.
okay.
You're going to get British people. So Paddy the Baddie, he'll be at the
Paddy the Baddie.
He's his third last fight. Tom Aspinall is currently the interim heavyweight champion of the world because the heavyweight division's in a bit of turmoil right now with John Jones being injured and Stipe not wanting to fight anybody but John Jones. So he'll take on Curtis Blades. And then the main fight is Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Now, these two have fought already, but Bilal got an eye poke from Leon Edwards, so the fight had to be called off. And it's going to be a really, really good fight because Leon Edwards is now in his 3rd title defense. Really good clash of styles here. And these oaks really don't like each other because Bilal thinks, he keeps telling everyone that Leon is scared of him. Leon's like, dude, you're so beneath me. And Leon's an incredible kickboxer. He's got an incredible kill shot with his left foot, and he generally hits them all the time. So that's UFC 304.
Wow.
Again, the fight is going to be great, but watch the crowd. These people are going to be vomiting. They're going to be asleep. They're going to be back. The ones that are awake are the ones that can afford cocaine. It is going to be such a thing to watch. It really will be. Rugby-wise, it's obviously a slow one because the Boks only pick up the game again on the 10th, where they play the Rugby Championships. They are going to Australia. Next week, we'll get into that. But it's Currie Cup. So Griffins versus the Cheetahs tonight, Pumas versus the Griquas tonight. And then we've got Saturday, Lions versus the Sharks, and Blue Bulls versus Western Province. Bit of a 3-horse race, really. It's the Lions, it's the Bulls, it's the Cheetahs. Province have started off quite slowly, but they have had tough fixtures. The Sharks are beyond dog shit. I don't know. They need like an exorcism. We've been saying this for weeks now.
Wow.
And then like the Pumas, the Griffins, and the Cheetahs.
Beyond dog shit.
They are. I mean, it's just they lost 2 weeks in a row now. They lost to Griquas, then they lost to Pumas. And they've still got lots of talent, which makes it even more frustrating. In the Formula One, we've got the Belgian Grand Prix. Now, this is always really, really great because it's at the Frank de Spa something circuit.
Right.
But it's beautiful because it's like a forest and there's like long, winding roads. So it's great for overtaking. It's one of Europeans' top circuits. It's one of the really great European circuits, right? Like the old Grand Prix that the purists love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the drama is that Max Verstappen is looking like he's going to have a 10-place penalty put on him. Not because he looks funny. It's just that he's using a different power unit. So how it works is that you can only do so much with your car with so much money throughout the season. And he had a bit of a whoopsie at the Canadian Grand Prix. So he's going to need to have another power unit. And you can only have so many. So you'll be docked places. So there's a good chance that he might start at 10th.
Sure.
Which sucks. He has come from behind a lot at this track because it's really great for overtaking. And that's why they're going to incur this penalty, because they'll take the risk. So they go, cool, we go for a new engine. We'll make up the places. So the thing about that is that because he's so great, in the past, he would be like, cool, my car will do it. I'll be fine. But it's so much more competitive this year. I mean, if you just look at the driver standings, Verstappen's on 265, Lando Norris on 189, and the McLaren duo of Norris and Piastri are bloody good right now. Now, just to keep it in mind, so you get 25 points to win the race, 18 for second, 15 for third, 12 for 10th, and then it goes down in increments of 2. Sorry, 12 for fourth, then it goes down in increments of 2. So Verstappen's got a healthy lead, but it's going to be just kept on like chipped away. So but the Belgian Grand Prix, F1 in general right now is about as good as it can be. But just to give you an update on the things that you should look out for in the Olympics itself, like I said today, just the opening ceremony. So that's wonderful. Tomorrow it really starts to kick off again. We've got the men's hockey, SA versus New Zealand, 12:45. Yes. And then we've got the rugby sevens, SA versus France. So we're taking on the host team. And it's in the Stade de France where they played the Rugby World Cup last year.
Nice.
And it is full. Like last night for the quarters was full. And France got through against Argentina. The Blitzbokkers beat the All Blacks. The Blitzboks had to qualify for this event a few weeks ago. They had to go to some godforsaken place and play other people that weren't that good.
No.
They came in there. They scraped into the quarterfinals somehow. They were seeded 8th in the quarterfinals, and they beat the All Blacks, who were number 1.
Sure.
So that is going to be the semi-final. Of course, if they go through to there, then they get into the bronze medal match. Sorry, they get into the gold medal match because they're playing semis, and that'll be at 7:45 on Saturday. If they lose that, they go to the bronze medal match, which will be at 7 on Saturday. So let's aim high. But there's so many medal events. There's diving, there's cycling, there's judo, skateboarding, fencing. That's all tomorrow. And then Sunday, there's like a whole other just huge selection of games. So in the hockey, we got the Aussie women taking on the SA women at 12:45. And then the men will be taking on Great Britain at 8:15. And then the rugby sevens for the women starts on Sunday. We'll be taking on Ireland. I'm not going to win that, but we'll be taking them on anyway in the spirit of competition. And then for medal events, I mean, if you love shooting, the 10-meter air pistol.
Yes, I saw some of that already. Now, they started that before the opening ceremony.
Yes, as they do with the football and the rugby.
Why do they do that?
Well, they can't fit it all in.
It's just such a big schedule. There's just so much. So yeah, you can get judo medal events to look out for. There's mountain biking. There's archery. The women's team bronze. You can see who that person might be at 4:48. Basically, get the app, commit yourself to the couch. Maybe adult nappies at this stage, because it's just never going to end.
It's so great.
It's
Yeah.
just never going to end. Maybe not,
Yeah.
soiling yourself's not great, but you don't want to miss any of this action. And it goes on until about 10:30 every single night. None
Very
of that
good.
probably made sense to you, but I'm overflowing with how much great excitement there is for the Olympics right now. And Sunday you can also watch table tennis. We didn't discuss that. That's always fun to watch. And the artistic gymnastics also carries on. So that's on Sunday. So you've got the Formula One, Belgian Grand Prix, Go Max from the back. You've got the UFC, Manchester People, Leon Edwards beating Bilal Muhammad. You've got the rugby. Now, there is, of course, other sports on the go, but I think that's enough for this weekend.
You know what? You've spoilt us.
I'll tell you what to bet on as well. I feel very strongly about this.
Okay.
Let's go.
Some bonus stuff from Ben.
So I'll
here,
tell you.
will
So I've got a hypothetical 100 that's going to return me about 350 by
Sure.
just betting on the home favorites at the UFC. So Paddy the Baddy's got the toughest fight of the three
Big guy.
against
Right.
Bobby Green, who's a very old seasoned pro. He's fought 32 times in the UFC, or as an MMA professional. Tom Aspinall is going to beat Curtis Blades because Tom Aspinall is phenomenal. I think he is the best heavyweight in the world right now. And then Leon Edwards, I just think has too many like weapons against Bilal. Remember the name Muhammad. So if you bet on those three oaks to win, just win. Not talking any funny submissions or calling the rounds.
Mhm.
Your 100 could get you a hypothetical 350 back in your super bets account.
I like it. We
So
take
that's-
Ben's bets seriously.
Okay.
Could win.
Last week I gave you two absolute pearlers. Those
You
Georgians
did.
with the handicap.
You did.
And then the box obviously annihilating Portugal. So
There we
hopefully we
go.
have the same luck
Fantastic.
and
All
fun
right.
this week.
There we go. Fantastic. Thank you, Ben. We really are spoilt. It's going to be a great weekend. And now you have to just schedule your time very, very carefully. Make sure you get all the snacks you need
Yes.
in advance. If you are feeling like you're maybe overdoing the snacks, you could do your exercise in front of the TV.
Well, that's
Jog on the spot.
Well, that's the thing.
You know?
You're watching, you're binging sport. So it's a bit unhealthy to be sitting all the time, but you'll be so inspired by watching these people do amazing things that you'll eventually do something as well. Maybe go for a walk or do some push-ups or whatever.
Well, I've got a beautiful poem that was submitted by one of our listeners about Uzbek wrestlers. Would you like to hear it?
Thank you.
Yes.
I was waiting for that.
In a quaint Uzbek town where the sun shines bright lived two wrestlers, quite a sight. Azamat, as big as a boulder and strong, and Goro, skinny but swift all along. Azamat loved to snack all day, with muscles like mountains, or so they'd say. He'd flex and grunt. I almost said that was gunt. He'd flex and grunt, his belly a jiggle, and make the kids laugh with a mighty wiggle. Goro, on the other hand, was light and spry, with a twinkle of mischief in his eye. He'd zip and zoom like a hyperactive kite, always ready for a playful fight. One bustling day as the markets... Now, you see that this is where I'm afraid you've let yourself down here because it goes on for paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. It's like 20 paragraphs about Azamat and Goro. I can't.
Oh.
But very good. I mean, well
Gosh,
done on the
what,
try.
What else could have happened? Do they fall into a love
You know
affair?
Ben,
Do they start buying property
let's say
together?
there's some extra content, all right? For after the show, we'll publish the whole thing.
What could possibly go on for so long with two men wrestling each other? Do they develop feelings?
It gets very deep.
Is
I
there
mean,
a-
it's 16 paragraphs. We'll publish the whole thing.
There's a goat
but
get
later.
involved.
There's a goat. There's a goat. There are the tribeswomen. It all
There's a lot.
becomes very aggressive. Yeah, it's a great story. So there we are. We're all behind the Uzbek wrestlers. I see even Leanne Manis is getting excited on social media. She said, "Let's go, Team South Africa."
Yeah, exactly.
It's good.
Who's part of the South African team?
144 people I'm not going to name for you right now.
Akani Simbini's in there.
Okay. He's
Yeah.
a sprinter, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've probably got some swimmers.
We got good swimmers,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay.
But now
It's
you're
good to have
stretching.
good swimmers.
Don't ask me for more than
Guys,
that.
we've got wrestlers, we've got judoists, we've got a
got a judoist?
Download the
Wow.
app. Got to tell you that the app has not
Okay.
paid us for this, but you've got to download the app
No, it
because it's
sounds
got
like
everything.
That's the way to go.
Okay.
All right. Well, apparently, listen, this is big news. I don't know why it's big news because this has come out so many times in so many different surveys they've done. But looking at boobs,
Why are you laughing? We're talking about science
Continue.
here.
Sorry, I'm being rude. Continue.
cackling like Kamala Harris over here. Looking
Continue.
at boobs and looking at cute animals will make men live longer.
Yes.
Really? This is true, Simphiwe. Why do you think this is funny? It's true. And it's like the most easy thing for anyone to be able to access. If women just complied.
I would go with participate. I think
participate's probably a bit better. All right. So apparently, this is according to a New York Post article. Staring at breasts make men live longer, and they've actually got like a pair of breasts in the story. But I don't think this is surprising.
No, it's not. But basically, it's a heart health thing you're going at here.
Yeah.
It's not just suddenly miraculously that things happen. It's like you want your heart rate to be healthy. Heart health is one of the biggest downfalls of people. Cardiovascular deaths are huge.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, it just comes down to the fact that they're not looking at boobs.
And the cute animals?
I might have missed a few steps in that. But
but I think you got the gist. And the cute animals? That's
a similar kind of thing. So you want beauty around you at any given stage.
Right.
And I think that's what we've always worked out. We said pretty people are better people in life.
Beautiful things. Yes.
And pretty people are better?
Well, it's been proven, Simphiwe, again.
And what? Just
everyone, let's be honest, it's been worked out for ages that they're more important people if they're beautiful. Everyone wants to be around them. They make you healthier to look at. And it's the same thing with cute animals.
Excellent.
If you only have, I don't know, pugs or
vultures
or
warthogs.
Yeah. Or reptiles and stuff as pets, you're not going to get the benefits, right? Because there's nothing cute or endearing about this.
No.
So you'll get an irregular heartbeat. It's going to make you feel on edge
from a reptile.
You wouldn't know if you fight or flighting. Whereas with a cute animal, it's like they're not going to kill us. It's just going to make me feel happy, content.
A cute animal or boobs. You got to choose. Now's your time.
You can't choose. You must have both.
Cute animal.
You must have both.
Boobs.
You must have both.
Both. Do you want both? You'll live very long. How much? Extra 10 years? Let's claim it. Who's going to falsify this? Fact checkers, independent fact checkers have said this is false. Go fuck yourself. Boobs and cute animals. I'm all for it. Let's go. Weekend is here. Simphiwe is still laughing.
It's just interesting.
What do you think? If you could look at anything and it would make you live longer, what do you think that thing would be?
I don't know.
Swimmers.
V-lines in particular, I guess.
Okay.
A good body.
All right.
What's the V-line? Is that a woman thing or a man thing?
No, it's a man thing. Why would I be looking at another woman?
So you have said about netball not being in the Olympics. I'm open to that's true. Other emotions you might just share with us.
No, but I'm just saying that there's other I see my body all day, every day. So it's nice to look at somebody else's body and be like, that's nice. It's like a guy with a great ass. You're just like, oh.
And suddenly we're in the same ball game.
But this is it. It goes back to my thing.
You say great ass, we say great boobs. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy this morning. Isn't that great? Isn't it nice to be happy among happy people?
Should be always like that.
Being miserable. Ugh, must be so shit. Don't be miserable. All right, it is 7:00. We got to take a break. We'll be back. I've got two important bits of news. There's a new Chief Justice and there's a new #1 podcast in the world.
Oh.
Yeah.
Different stories, though. It's not a Chief Justice who's got a podcast.
No. The Chief Justice has not started a podcast. Cool. Yeah. No, that's not a thing. All right, that's coming up.
I haven't driven a hybrid car where things have gone totally wrong and topsy-turvy. So that's what I would say.
And your name?
Well, hybrids are generally a little bit heavier.
Yes.
So that can impact things like tires and so on. But I think they're eco-friendly. They have good resale value. Manufacturing is slightly eco-friendlier. That is debatable, of course. But the fact that they charge themselves through regenerative braking, the fuel savings, for example. And, you don't have to spend big on a hybrid. Look at the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. They're not expensive. If you're going for a lightly used Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid, then it's an absolute win-win situation.
Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
I don't care about this is my competition, this is my pool. I am winning the That's Gold Clip Drift pool this year.
Yeah, you definitely are winning.
I'm
That's because you have a burner phone. Guys, if you see Ben's other random account there, please, it's a burner phone.
So guys, I'm winning. If you go to
Mfundo, I'm backing you, brother. We'll share it down the line.
I'm taking you down. I don't care.
We'll share it down the line.
I've got enough friends. Clip Drift, That's Gold.co.za. Okay. Every time a BOK team gets announced, you go onto there and you get the team. Okay. So there, click on Portugal versus SA, and then you spin. It's so super simple. And then I've already got tight forwards this whole time. So I'm going to spin right now.
Spinning.
That's good. I got Andre Estesen. Okay, so I've got a starting back this time round. Inside center. He's going to score 4 tries. He's so much bigger than the rest of them.
All right. We are here on a Friday, and it is fantastic. It's the middle of winter, but we're not going to let that get us down. The Olympics start the opening ceremonies tonight. We have a new Chief Justice, by the way. Mm-hmm. Chief Justice Maya, who's taking over. And she has just been appointed by the Prez. So I hope that she will have a good term of office. Chief Justice doesn't stay there for life.
Read me through, what does a Chief Justice do?
Chief Justice is in charge of the Constitutional Court.
So sits in the middle.
Yeah, but they're also the head of the judiciary. So they're on the Judicial Services Commission that appoints judges. And technically, all the other judges have to report, like from the different provincial divisions, to that judge. So the Chief Justice runs an office called the Office of the Chief Justice, and that takes care of all of the courts across the country. So if there's a problem anywhere in the judiciary, that person is effectively the executive in charge of that entire division.
Okay, so a very important person.
Yeah, it's got to be someone who knows what they're doing, and they will pass judgments in the Constitutional Court.
And they're not aligned to a party; they're just independent. Legal.
They shouldn't be political. I mean, the Constitutional Court is essentially a court where the only real religion is the Constitution. So everything they do, everything they say has to go through, it has to be filtered through that Constitution. If it doesn't pass muster in that way, it can't possibly be useful to that court, and they can't say anything about it. If it falls outside of the ambit of the Constitutional Court, which a lot of stuff does, because it isn't necessarily to do with the Constitution, then it goes to the Supreme Court of Appeal, which is one court down.
Do they have to memorize the Constitution?
They kind of know. I mean, look, it's not very difficult because the Constitution's broken into different pieces. Mm-hmm. There's the chapter on human rights, for example. There's a chapter on the institutions of government, and then there are various parts that relate to the overall vision for South Africa, the stuff that was written down in the 90s about how we should operate as a state, the checks and balances, the chapter 9s, the chapter 11s, all those kinds of things. That's where they come from, the Constitution. But it's not difficult. It's a little book like this. There are people who've memorized the Quran and the Bible. Can't be that hard to memorize the Constitution. But they do know it. I mean, they should, by the time they get there, they know it pretty well.
Yeah.
I see you looking suspicious. By the way,
no more questions.
The biggest podcast in the world is now Tucker Carlson.
Wait, what?
Eclipsing Joe Rogan as the biggest podcast in the world. You may remember, like some time ago, someone called Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's a congresswoman from New York, was thrilled when they got Tucker Carlson taken off mainstream media. I mean, they didn't win. I think he was either fired or he resigned. I can't remember. But she was like, oh, good. We've got rid of one bad apple. And here he is back with the biggest podcast in the world.
She is quite close to stupid, though.
Yeah, but canceling people never works. Case in point, Tucker Carlson.
So what's this based upon?
So that what they do is this is ratings. There's a number of downloads. There's a number of views.
Because I've never known what those numbers are, because Spotify withhold all that kind of stuff. You don't really know what that is. So is it based around, say, Apple Podcasts, or is it?
I think they do publish them in reports once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And they also publish them when there's a major change like this. But it's not just Spotify. So you've got, obviously, if you listen to this show on Spotify, you might get a certain kind of experience. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, which is what I use, then Spotify doesn't know you exist. And if you're on YouTube, which a lot of people like to do, then that's another way to use it. So I think they put them all together and they see what the big number is, and then they rank them.
But good for Tucker, and you can see why it's the best, because Joe's been there for a long time, and his show has plateaued. There's no doubt about it.
You think?
It can never stay up like that. Because ultimately,
got a bit predictable.
I'm on the show once a week, and I repeat myself. Once a week. So when Joe Rogan, you listen to any of his podcasts, you hear the same story every month about something with somebody but it's natural. Whereas Tucker Carlson comes in and he's got, I don't know, he's like 20 interviews in of high profile nature.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he talks to people about variety of things. So the nature of it is going to be more exciting and more new. It's got a different smell to it,
Okay. Yeah. I think
That's
there's a novelty factor. Yeah.
He's given himself a trajectory, which again, it's going to be hard to maintain, but I can totally understand him being the best. Well,
the Peter Groenewald Prison Podcast, which we're debuting soon, that's going to be a real winner. They're going to go in and basically raid each prison cell and tell you the story of what that prisoner was getting away with. Imagine, everyone will listen. It'll be fantastic. Said no one ever. Let's look at some of the other stuff that's going on in the news. Here's Boeing and NASA may have found the root cause of the Starliner spacecraft's issues. So apparently, NASA and Boeing officials are not ready yet to name a return date for the two astronauts who are going to take the vehicle into its inaugural crewed test flight. But they do have some answers about what ultimately caused the problems during the first leg of the trip, which included helium leaks and thrusters that unexpectedly quit working.
Oh, you don't want a quitting thruster.
No, very
Nobody
bad.
wants that.
Or a helium leak, because everyone starts to sound like this.
But
not good.
But Boeing isn't that the company that the doors come out?
Yeah, well,
and they got like a really woke sort of engineering team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't hire
That's them. Yeah. So listen, I wouldn't go up in any of these things. I think you have to be unbelievably brave to be an astronaut. You think about what those guys did in the late 60s, early 70s, and even the 80s. You don't know what could happen. One little nut that tightens some bolt comes a little bit loose.
Just watch the Challenger documentary.
Exactly. That's not fun.
In it was the Challenger that exploded.
Yes.
You know the astronauts actually died.
How?
On impact in the water. They were actually sheltered.
No way.
The capsule that exploded, they were actually safe, but the parachutes and things didn't deploy. So they actually, pretty much all of them were alive until it came back to Earth and it smashed on the water.
God, that must have been fast as hell.
Because everyone thought like, oh, it's exploded and they're all dead. No, the capsule was so well contained, but not so well parachuted.
Yo.
So you'd probably die of a heart attack, but just knowing you're free falling down towards the Earth to die, it must have been
an extreme pace.
What a way to die! Like you actually want to just die in flames.
Yeah,
because that's way worse.
Carl says, my wife and I battled to have our first child because my thrusters weren't working.
Oh, wow.
See,
I can imagine Carl's wife wanted to be an astronaut because then she can go away far for a while.
It's far from him.
Like you interview an astronaut. It's like, how's your wife or husband? I'll see them later.
Yeah. Instagram has removed 63,000 sextortion accounts in Nigeria.
Finally.
Wow. 63,000?
Yeah. Meta says it's removed thousands of accounts in Nigeria that were trying to target people in sextortion schemes. The scammers typically pose as young women online to trick men into sending sexually explicit material before blackmailing them. Victims of sextortion crimes have taken their own lives due to the stress and the stigma and the shame after they were scammed. So apparently, in a blog post they posted on Wednesday, they said they removed 63,000 accounts that tried to engage with the scams. Company also took down 5,700 Facebook groups in which scammers were offering tips on how to scam people.
I have a question, especially in regards with this particular scam, right? Because I understand how people can get scammed. Here's 5,000, just click on this link. When you're not telling me to send pictures of like, you know, me maybe butt naked, does it not cross your mind to just be like, let's just take a
very fair question.
You know, like, I understand how scamming works, but the moment someone's like, send me an explicit picture.
Yeah, but you see, they think they're talking to a hot woman.
So,
man.
Look, I'm not an authority on this, but the hot women that I know aren't looking to do these kind of grubby things in life. They're married. They into making money. Grubby. They don't need to scam some poor ass oak out of some like a few here and there. The moral of the story is just don't talk to strangers. I mean, it still applies. There was a song we learned as kids. It's don't talk to strangers or get into their cars. Definitely not.
Don't. Just don't do it. Don't get into a stranger's car and don't talk to them.
But that was a time where cars weren't that great. I mean, nowadays, strangers might have better cars, and then it's a bit more tricky.
What do you mean? There was something wrong with a Cressida?
I mean, when you were growing up, you were going to get into the back of a brown Cressida with rust.
Now, here comes a BMW.
Now there's a G-Wagon. You can get
a brown Cressida with rust.
Typical stranger.
But don't most pedophiles have a van?
Yeah,
I believe that. I mean, I believe. I have no evidence for this whatsoever. But they usually have an ice cream truck or a van. That's how I understand.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing about pedos is they've got a lot to hide. So you won't see them in a sporty two-seater with the top down. It's a far too transparent kind of offering.
They need covered sides.
Yeah, and like sound insulation. That's another thing. They need to insulate screams and other stress alarms. It's a pretty simple formula.
So that's why they have the vans. Yeah, and I mean, also space. Because, you know, if little Sally comes up, but she's with her friend little Julie, you got to take them both.
And also like
pedophiles are, I mean, they really are the most terrible.
No, they're absolutely terrible. And the thing is, when you're grabbing someone, it's a moment of distress. So you got to throw them into something. You can't you can't guide them into a door, put them into a seat, put a seatbelt on them. You've got
Don't make a noise.
Yeah, you got to hoy them in there. You use space.
This has gone to a very dark place this morning.
Just judge every car out there that's not got more than 4 seats is what I'm saying.
So and where you can't see what's going on.
Yes.
Especially with very tinted windows.
Yeah.
And the ones that play that dee doo 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 dee doo 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 doo. That's like just a terrible, terrible idea to have that sound playing from a car or a van. Good. Or a brown Cressida with rust.
Yeah, the brown Cressida.
And don't take the sweets.
What did
kids.
happen
That John Kitty says Ben's seen some shit.
It's a tough world out there. But if you notice, where do old cars really actually go? I mean, I know that every year new cars come into the market, but do they all just end up in Velcom? Like, where do they go?
Yeah, they go to,
like poor people don't just get new cars.
They filter down to poor things and then to poor places, and then they eventually get turned into scrap metal.
Because I often wondered that. Like,
no, but listen, I've seen a lot of really old cars around in South Africa.
You in Pretoria?
No, like on the highway, dude. On the highway, you'll see like some really old car from like the 70s or 80s.
Yes.
It's got different colored panels on the car because it's been fixed up.
Wow.
They've had to bopper this one on that side, this side. They've got chicken wire. They've got smoke coming out from places that shouldn't have smoke coming out. There's some old fucking cars in this country.
How do you see that, eh?
Yeah, no, I'm telling you.
No, you live in the bougie side of the world.
I live around here.
Clearly, it's better where you are. But yeah, I've seen some Cressidas.
if you have a cressida, please.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
If you got an aunt or an uncle, someone in someone's family has it on this cressidas, but it's like a station wagony vibe.
Yeah. With the wood would be even. Remember
So
they had
that was more American cars,
but they had the
we
wood.
didn't really get the wood.
There was some that had wood.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then your pedophile was a lot more.
Advanced.
My pedophile.
Your neighborhood pedophile was a lot more arty.
Oh my god. All right, so there are a couple other things that we need to get to this morning, and we've got Nik Rabinowitz popping by in just a little while, don't forget. So apparently the leg of a shark attack victim, we had that guy in here the other day.
Caleb.
Yes you met him.
Yeah, I've known it for a while.
Okay, so
It's quite an interesting individual, that.
the leg of a shark attacks victim washes up on beach. This is in Australia.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is a pretty horrific story. Imagine you just chilling on the beach, tanning with your friends, maybe having a brew, and then suddenly a severed leg washes up on the beach, and now the doctors apparently want to reattach it. But how long has it been out there?
Yeah, and all the infection from oceans, which we know people poo in.
My God.
And whose leg is it?
So,
Can they just
His
tell?
name is Kai McKenzie.
Yeah.
He was attacked at North Shore Beach, since you asked, at Port Macquarie on Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. And then they managed to help him. An off-duty police officer was walking his dog on the beach, used his dog's leash as a tourniquet around the wound and helped the guy. He was taken to a hospital, stable but critical. The severed leg washed up on the beach, was placed on ice, taken to the hospital, which was 200 kilometers away from the place where the attack occurred. However, doctors will still have to assess whether it can be reattached.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I always
Don't do it.
think, like, why are sharks so angry? Killer whales, okay? Hardcore. How
Yeah.
many people have died from killer whale attacks? Orcas. How many?
I don't know.
Zero.
Really? Is it
Zero
zero?
recorded in the history of people breathing.
Really?
Has an orca eaten a human?
Okay.
Okay, maybe in some snuff Japanese game show, you
Well,
might get
they
a couple
eat
here. and there.
sharks.
And like in SeaWorld, if you really piss them off, they'll take you on. But in the wild, an orca will see you and go, "What's up? Sharks? No, I must eat your leg and ruin your life."
No.
Such
Okay,
dicks.
let's not do that kind of branding for sharks. Let's not do that. You are in their world, their territory. You are the foreigner in that department. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you brought up that stance, because where does our territory? Are we just not allowed in the shore break, the ripples? Because sharks
Just don't go into water, Ben.
Sharks don't need waves, okay?
You don't need to go into water.
But if you let me put this to you, the Chief Justice of Sharks here. Sharks don't need waves, okay? Have you ever seen a shark go, "I'm just going to catch some waves today"? No. Surfers need waves, so they're in the waves. The sharks have the whole ocean. They're like, it's forever. We just want the waves, okay? We just want the waves. We want to play in the
Not too
waves.
much to ask.
Not too much to ask. Why
No.
do the sharks be such dicks and go, "Oh no, we got the waves too"? You don't need them.
And we don't,
Okay.
and they don't want the waves for fun.
No.
They want it to eat us.
So I used to be on your side. Yeah, sharks, blah blah blah.
Mm.
Give them. But no, get out of the waves. Let us have waves at least.
Okay, mister, I'm
It's-
entitled to the
It's
ocean.
not too
and-
much of an ask.
It is, okay, because they've been there longer than you. That is their territory. Just as much as you just roam around the land and you do whatever, whenever, allow the sharks to do the same thing. That's all I'm saying.
So, people, if we had to go out into space and zoom out of this
And
conversation
if an
right
alien decides to do something to me there, it's my fault. What was I doing there? What was I doing there? It's not my place.
Well,
let's not take this
has
away.
taken on the ultimate level of agency here. I mean, she's responsible for herself no matter what.
Like, your place is here on earth.
Yes, but let me
On dry land.
let me just finish my point about that. All we are wanting is the tiniest slither of the ocean.
You're asking
We're
too
wanting
much.
a 1/millionth of the ocean. It's that
You're
little bit by the
asking
sand.
Too much. The
Bitcoin
fact that
Bud
you
says
can't
you sound like a
survive.
squatter, Ben.
You can't survive in the water.
How am I on my own on this one? Back me. Someone's going to back me up. All we
Hey.
want is the waves. We want basically 20 meters from the shoreline. That's all. There's another 7 million meters that the shark's going to be in.
The sea
I
is
don't think
not
that's
your
an-
mother's place.
Not
I don't think that's
unreasonable.
unreasonable, Ben. I do feel that's why we put up the nets, though, is to say to the sharks, look, you can't have this piece, which is fair. I think that's fair.
But it's like sharks need to eat other things to survive, right?
Yeah.
Do they live in the waves? No. They're
No,
also
but-
out there. So we know even where their food is.
No, but you look like food. That's the thing.
That's the choice they're making.
No. You
We
look
don't-
like a
we
nice
don't-
dessert
we look
that
like
they haven't had in a minute.
we look like surfers. We haven't dressed ourselves up there as shark food.
Jason says, when someone walks to my gate, I don't try to bite them.
See,
Oh,
yeah,
that's a
Jason's
good
a
point.
reasonable man.
Sharks are starting to chill. Just look at the rugby team, says Case.
Well, those are the toothless ones. Yeah, that's a bit different.
Carl says, Simphiwe has the same stance on sharks that Gayton does on Zimbabweans.
No, her stance is on humans. She seems to be all for the
Yeah.
sharks.
That Don Kede says, they do live in the waves. They catch seals in the waves.
Yeah, bo.
Show me.
Show
Because
me.
when I see Discovery Channel, that kind of stuff, they're catching seals in Seal Island. They're not rummaging around in this. And when have you ever seen seals? They're also out in the abyss. Don't come here. Basically, the waves are a picnic site, okay? In the greater scheme of things. Let's
Yes.
not get upset.
Right. And then
Give us
you're,
the waves.
you're picnicking with your family and some other gangster comes up and steals your picnic basket or your child or both. Yeah, not on. It's definitely not on. I'm with you, Ben. I know Simphiwe makes a good point here, but I do feel like we deserve some sea to play in. Just a little bit.
And
The
it's
very
such a-
closest part to
Yeah,
the
where
shore.
the sand is.
It's the smallest
That's
bit.
great.
Yeah, it's
so
really the
small.
smallest bit. Someone asked the question, why do sharks only eat fit people, not fat ones? Is that
well,
true?
I mean, I don't know. That's entirely true.
I don't think so. I think if the fat ones went further out, which they don't,
That's
then
why.
maybe if they went further out, they'd be eaten more.
But also, sometimes you have what's called bite confidence.
What's that?
Well, I just made it up. But I mean, if something's too big, you haven't got very, very confidence to make a good bite. Whereas the smaller, fitter people,
Snacky.
like a hip goes into a mouth,
Yes.
a ginormous hip
Yeah, difficult.
kind of hits the gums a bit, and
It's like when you take the mouthful and it's too much and you
Too
find
much.
yourself going,
because sharks are big proponents of the saying, "You can't bite off more than I can chew."
yes,
They-
in fact, that comes from them.
They often say that a lot. the
Yes,
sharks.
they like to say it.
See,
Huge Erection says, I'm totally with Simphiwe on this one.
Thank you.
I agree with Ben, says Paul. Allow us to swim in our own sewage,
yes,
especially if you're in KZN. If we deserve some sea, then the sharks deserve some land. Let's give them Orania, says Leanne.
I think that's very harsh on people of Aranya, but also be interesting.
They're also too
Sure.
far from the sea for
But
the
I also
sharks.
tell you what, like, okay, so then the sharks can't have land because they can't live on the land. We can live in the waves.
No, you can't. You have to be there for a few hours and come back to land. Hence why I'm saying that's not your territory. This is where you belong. Stay here and you'll be fine.
Simphiwe is very...
I'm not giving the sharks land because it's useless for them because they die on land.
Thank
we
you.
don't
Just
die
like
on the,
you, if you're in the sea, right?
but we're on
for
top
like-
of the water. We're not in the water.
No,
very
but-
strident about
No,
this.
no, no. But you will not survive. That is not your. You don't have fins, my guy. Like you're not going to
You do. You
survive.
put them on your feet so you can use your hands to pedal. I'm really excited about Shark Week this year and what Simphiwe is going to come up with.
No.
Oh my God. Ben Sanella says, Ben, you see cows as food. Sharks see you as food. Fair game.
Cows are food, though.
Of course cows are food.
They're literally,
Yes.
so what is a cow designed? Show me the architecture. What have they invented? Show me the internal combustion engines that cows have been so famous around.
They're food.
They're food. We're not food. We're apex specimens
That's
that rule
what
this
you
world.
think. To a shark, you are just, some nice dessert on a
It's great.
Sunday.
No, they're dicks.
All right. Well, Ben, you enjoy your weekend. And thank you for bringing us some excellent sport. We've got lots of Olympics and other good things to look forward to. Any other cool things happening this weekend for you?
No, not really.
No?
Yeah. I'm going to play some golf on Sunday. Otherwise, I'm watching lots of Olympics.
Good.
And I've been away for the last 5 days or so. So hang
time
out with
to
the
be at
cats, home time.
Yeah, nice.
Now.
How are the cats?
They're good. Oh, they're really good. Hopkins is a bit dirty, so I might actually have to need to wash him with some shampoo.
How do you
I've
wash
never-
the cat?
I've never done it before, but he gets dirty. I don't know if he's just trying to transition.
But you
or-
can't wash the cat.
give him a wipe down from time to time.
With
but
what?
You get wipes. Or
Really,
just
like
use
wet
a towel,
wipes? Really?
Normal.
towel with warm water.
Huh.
But
And
he's-
he doesn't
But
complain?
he's white. He's a pure white cat.
Yeah, but he doesn't get all
No, he's pretty
freaked
good
out.
with it. He's pretty good with it.
Oh.
But no, he just looks a bit scruffy, and he's a bit
Okay.
dirty and
How's it
caked
going
in.
with that girlfriend of his?
Yeah, she's needy.
From the wrong side of the tracks.
No, she's beautiful. She's really fancy. She had an air tag on for like cat bling.
Wow.
But she comes in and she just eats all the food. So she's a bit of a
bully.
bit of a chunky monkey.
Greedy. She's a bit greedy.
She's needy and greedy, but she really likes him. And I think he's a bit over her.
Well, you know, you sometimes see those couples and you wonder how they got together.
Well,
sometimes it's just she likes his food.
Yeah, well, look, when they got together, she was much smaller. So I don't know if that was the initial interest. But now she's outgrown him. Yeah, it's cool. He lives a good life.
All right. Well, there's the update everyone was waiting for because, you know, people do. They want to know.
Well, it's a much happier cat update this week.
That's a much happier cat update. Not so much about... Did you ever bury that one that was lying in the street? Hit by a car?
That was a different cat update. No, someone else did, thankfully, because I got back home and then the body wasn't there anymore.
Oh,
okay. Probably taken by crows.
Well,
crows, maybe a vulture,
fucking shark. The shark came on to claim the land, and it's like, I'll take this. Decent viewer. That's what you started.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ben. Ben Karpinski. You can join him for the On the Bounce Sports Show along with Sandile Shangase. They are both on a Thursday, but you can watch it whenever you want. And it's there for repeat viewing because the hits keep coming. And there's plenty of good stuff there. It's also available on the Real Network. Just go to our webpage and take a look. There's so much good stuff there. And if you haven't got enough, you let us know what you want. And who knows, maybe you'll be lucky enough and we'll just create exactly what it is you're looking for.
That is correct.
I'm still a little bit concerned about the 63,000 accounts that were scamming people for sex. I got to be honest. It's like, and I wonder what country the most gullible people were from. That's what I'm interested in. Is not so much like we knew they were Nigerian scammers, but which country are they scamming?
And how did they, like, I'm still in the, how did they get you to send those pictures? So did she first show some titties?
She must have showed
some. Then you were like, okay, cool, let's get it a bit. And then does it get like, is there levels to it? So you start off with a bit of shoulder, then she showed you some titties.
Yeah, and then you have to up the game as well. Yeah, and then eventually she will send you
on the
all
DM.
The
like, whatever happened to taking it on WhatsApp or something? Like, why okay.
People are stupid and horny. I don't know why you don't understand this, Simphiwe.
Like,
they are stupid and they're horny.
Promise, like, we're gonna hook, because also doing all of that, right?
Do you know how
you're getting yourself all hot and flustered?
This week we've said a lot of things about men and women, but it's time for men to take a beating again. Men are really stupid when they're horny. Really stupid. If you get them in the right state of mind and you have them believing that you're this beautiful girl, they stop thinking with their brains and they will do anything for you. So you're like, why don't you send me 5,000 Rand? They will. I promise you, this is how dumb men are. Yeah, why don't you send me a picture of your penis? I mean, by that stage, because you know what woman really wants to, like, who's ever going to ask you that? What chick is ever going to say to you, I really need to see a pic of your penis? Anyway, then if you're a guy, you're not
to check what she's working with,
but you're not thinking. So you go, well, maybe if I send her this, imagine what she'll send me. And then you send it, and then you're like, hello, we are from Nigeria. We've taken all your bank details. Have a good week. Bye-bye. So Facebook has shut them down. I don't know. I think a lot of those gullible people here from South Africa, I'm telling you. They're not going to release the info, but trust me. Let us bring on everybody's favorite comedian. He's back in Johannesburg, which is excellent because he mostly spends his time in Cape Town. And his name is Nik Rabinowitz. Of course, he is well known to audiences across South Africa because he's fucking hilarious. And this week he's got a Theatre on the Square show in Sandton running until the 3rd of August. Tickets are available at CompuTicket. It's a brave, new, hilarious world seen through the eyes of a slightly heroic aging comedian. That's what his PR people just called him. These are the people you pay to make you sound good, and they called you a slightly heroic aging.
They did.
Aging
Fuck
comedian.
them.
How rude. I mean,
that's actually a review from the Ventersdorp Herald.
Oh, wow.
So they gave me 5 stars.
Listen, aren't you blown away by this news about how well our prisoners live? and how Piet Groenewald, who's now the Minister of Correctional Services, sent them in to raid Sun City Prison, and they found Xboxes and PlayStations and plasma TVs and Wi-Fi. Everything.
Sure.
Everything.
What's his name?
Piet.
He sounds like he might reopen Robben Island.
Piet, he's from the Vryheidsfront Plus.
But don't you think that in terms of the person in charge of correctional services, that Gates and McKenzie would have done a much better job?
Yeah, because he knows prisoners. Because he's been in there. Yeah. But I mean, Piet is like, he's the most popular minister on social media. Yeah, ask Simphiwe.
Right now, yes, I'm all for Piet. Let's go. Remove those plasma TVs. Yeah, remove.
Because South Africans really fucking hate prisoners. Because they know those oaks are in there because they've stolen or hurt someone or murdered some family member. We all got cucked.
But you know what? I was in Australia a few months ago, and obviously most people there are descended from prisoners.
Or prison warders.
But they're very well... I mean, that's not a country you want to live.
No.
I was there the week. An inmate who was wrongly released turned himself back in.
No. No, that's too Australian. Really?
Yeah.
I would never
sorry,
do
mate.
that.
Fair cop.
Take me back, eh?
No, he was high and he injured people with his car.
Okay.
And I think what happened was
that's like this weekend in Braamfontein. Not a big deal.
But he'd been released, and then that happened like the same night or whatever. But then he heard he'd been wrongly released, and he drove back while still high, and handed himself back in.
Australians are so compliant that even when they're high, they do the right thing.
Yeah, and they call it a nanny state.
Yeah,
but that's because there's only one fucking nanny per state that you can afford. I'm not taking my children there.
So, okay, let's just hear about the show of yours, because if we don't plug the show, then there's no point in you having been here.
Yes, the show is all about how stupid men are when they're horny. Funnily enough.
Oh, really?
I actually talk about the sexting stuff because when we grew up in the 90s.
Yes, it was hard work, man. You had to date a girl, you had to go out, you actually had to be in her physical presence.
Right.
She could ignore you, and often did.
90s sexting, there was no...
Horrible.
Now people...
Wait, what was that like in the 90s, eh?
There was faxting.
Oh.
There was no sexting. We didn't have mobile phones, so you'd have to phone someone's house. I remember, like, there was this one girl who this is a primary school, Simphiwe, so, like, you'd have to phone her house, and if her dad answered, you're like, oh, no, not him.
Yeah.
What am I going to say? Say, hello, Mr. whatever his surname is. Hello, who's this?
It's terrifying.
It's Gareth. Who? Gareth. Voice breaking. Can I speak to Vanessa?
Was her name really Vanessa?
He'd go, what do you want with Vanessa?
Yeah.
Just want to speak to her. No. Put the phone down, and you'd have to try later when he wasn't at home.
Yeah, or you sent physical notes.
Yes.
Like an actual handwritten. You had to learn to write, and then you'd send someone a note.
Learn to write.
And I was sending notes to Kim Slot, and they were just slightly off color. We were into like Monty Python's Meaning of Life and whatever.
Okay.
And her dad found the notes in her blazer and phoned our house on the landline at like 7 a.m. and said, my parents were still sleeping. I used to catch the bus. And he said, I wanted to talk to your father. And my dad, I was like, Dad? And my dad threw me under the bus. And he was like, it's not mine. You sorted out with Kim Slot's father.
Yeah, I mean, what?
And he called me the silly little pornographer. That was
what was in the notes, though? I mean, you didn't say, like, I want to be inside you.
Like,
I mean, that's nowhere near like what Prince Charles said to Camilla on that phone call.
Camilla, that's right. But no, it wasn't far off. This happened to me at OR Tambo. Okay, I'm sitting in the lounge, waiting for an international flight, and there's an English couple behind me. Now, I say in the sexting in the 90s, there was no sexting, but I have seen people in their 90s sexting.
No.
In the airport lounge.
Really?
I was sitting, you sit those back-to-back couches. So I'm sort of sitting, and I look at this guy, and he's chatting to his wife about their plans for Botswana. Did you remember my statin, the medication, and the whatever. But I can see his phone from where, and he is sexting on Facebook Messenger. And exactly what you guys were talking about earlier.
Way.
And I could read. I can't read up close, but I can read from far.
Was it filth?
and it was like it was imagine me entering you from behind.
Oh my gosh. What a turn off.
My sweet one or my beloved. You know, because they end with a little endearment as well.
So Nick, do you think, I mean, we opened up with that terrible biography of you calling you an aging comedian, but I mean, everyone's getting older, you know, and we're all going to die. It's just a question of when. But do you think that men ever stop being like horny?
I think it gets worse.
Boys,
I think it gets worse.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you where. In the old age homes. I did research. I went to a Jewish old age home and a man heckled me. I was doing a show for the old age home.
Fresh meat, eh?
Yeah.
This is
a pro bono. Yes, it was a mitzvah.
You're doing a mitzvah. You're doing something kind for these fucking old people, and then the guy heckles you.
He puts up his
get out. You're not
his cane.
You're not as good as Trevor Noah. What did he say? What did he say?
No, he said, "Listen, Sonny, how much longer is this going to go on for?"
No.
Yeah, and I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because I need to see a man about a dog." And I thought that meant he needed to go
take a shit or something
to the bathroom. Yeah. Right? But it turns out he needed to go and shtup Cynthia Borelowitz. Do you know what shtupping is? In room 32, because he has.
I've heard about Cynthia. Because she's particularly horny.
She's like a sailor as well. She doesn't remember where she was last night because of the dementia. And what happens with dementia is the hypersexuality is one of the side effects.
Yeah.
So these old age homes are hotbeds for sex.
But apparently it isn't. It's a major, major problem in some of these old age homes because these people literally go room to room. They got nothing else to do. It's either that or a crossword.
They know how to still get it on.
How does a crossword compare when you've only got a couple of months to live? Tell me, are you going to waste your time on 8 across?
That's how you want to go out.
Cry.
You know? You don't want to die laughing. You want to die pumping.
And they do, hey?
How did they get it on?
Go
on the internet, pensioner porn. Search pensioner porn.
No, I don't want to be traumatized.
The storylines are amazing. It's like the couple, you know, the opening scene is always, you know, well, in this opening scene, they're in a lawyer's office drawing up their wills, and then it progresses from there.
That's so fantastic. Oh my God, it makes me want to actually go to an old age home, and I've never wanted to do that before.
I don't
just to see this happen in real time.
time.
Imagine you just sit there and you just watch, and you're like, I just see number 53 just went into number 87.
Yeah.
From behind.
And what, wait, I mean, like, these are old people. Surely they don't have lingerie. So what? Is it just their petticoats that they have on? They're like, you can take that off. Like, what the
Carl says, Nick, I heard that that the foreskin actually grows back in the Jewish old age home if they've been there long enough. Is that true?
They have to have a second bris,
God, that's horrific. Tinder taught me to reverse image search, says Janine. 90% of the people you talk to are from Pinterest. That's interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because you can use the Google Image app.
Yeah.
You put in the picture and it tells you where it comes from. And normally it's not from the person. So if those Nigerians are hitting you up today, just reverse image search, all right?
My gran, I don't know if I should talk about this
go for
publicly,
it.
but
it's fine.
She's been dead for a while. But she had a guy sexting, sending her or asking for nudes as well.
Your gran?
Yeah. And this is like 15 years ago.
Sure.
She had a BBM.
Wow.
Check BBM.
A BlackBerry, right?
And you will see her status is she's playing my song.
That was your grand's favorite song.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is it was her first cousin.
Hey!
No, man.
Yeah.
And he was trying to scam her.
No. He was trying to have sex with her.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't scamming her. He was genuinely interested.
Yeah.
But
and she was interested in him as well. And they were sending to each other.
Let me ask you this then. What's the harm? I mean,
what's the harm?
Did the family intervene, or should they have just let things be?
We said, listen, we should amend the incest rules and just let them get on with it.
Because at that age, who cares?
Who's hurting it?
They're not fertile. Yeah. They're not going to produce some child.
Well, funnily enough, she asked me what contraception she should take with her on the trip because it involved an overseas trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was really
he was
putting on a good show, hey?
Yep.
Going to take her out for dinner, maybe go to a Broadway show.
And then he ruined it because he sent her another request, but he accidentally addressed it to the wrong woman.
So there were multiple chicks.
Yep. See, horny old men.
An 88-year-old player. I'm not saying he was Gary Player, but I've heard
No one
stories.
wants that. You see, community dick. No one wants it.
No.
I like this. My grandfather died with a box full of wine in his closet. For sure, he was entertaining the old ladies, says Bitcoin But.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think those old men, because you think, what a sweet old grandpa. You don't know that guy's probably just like an 18-year-old, only stuck in the 90-year-old body.
Yeah.
I don't think they get better. I think they do get worse. Maybe you've convinced me as well.
Also, you were talking about the appeal for women, the appeal of seeing one of these dick pics.
Oh,
like, it's not much.
There's none.
I mean, remember the Hockey Owis group with, remember that from years ago? What is the female equivalent of a dick pic? I've been trying to work it out.
Well, I suppose a pussy pick.
Well, where was that?
Maybe
Hockey Owis. Where was that? It was like
that was
Eastern Transvaal.
It was in Velkom.
Velkom. I know what they call it there.
What?
A cookie kiki.
A cookie kiki.
Yeah, I think. Well, I made that.
Yes.
I want to start it. Let's make a trend.
Cookie kiki. Shame that poor woman. She had a tough time after that. I think they were so unfair that some bitch on that group outed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she probably saw them and was like, "This is hot," and she takes bitter one.
Hot tour.
I was talking to a man in India because I had a query about my PayPal account, and we somehow got talking about nudist beaches because he asked me.
That's an interesting
He said, "You're a
aside.
comedian, tell me a joke," and I was writing a joke about my traumatic childhood being raised by nudists. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys grew up.
Are your
here.
parents nudists?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, my dad was a. They called them naturalists.
Naturalists.
Back then,
that was a big
in the
thing.
50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bo Brummel and company.
Exactly, and Sandy Bay was different back then. There were there weren't any like perverts and things. That's only something that like women invented like a few years ago. Pervert sexual harassment and the Me Too movement. But back then, it was clean fun, good clean fun. And this guy in India said to me, "What's the appeal of a nudist beach?" And I said, "That's funnier if you understand Afrikaans, because you're not going to just see a peel. You're going to see a klomp. What is the collective noun
for pila?
As it a tros, tros pila. In English, it would be. What is the collective noun for
grapes?
Porcupines?
A porcupines would be I don't know.
A prickle, I think.
Is it a prickle?
Yeah, it's a prickle of peni.
Prickle of pricks.
Prickle of pricks.
Zelna says we're wrong. It was Schweizer Reinicke.
Schweizer Reinicke. Sounds worse in German.
It does, eh? Suddenly you've just
that's the German name for Oranje.
All kinds of PTSD there for some of our listeners and viewers this morning. Like Schweizer Reinicke. My God,
Sweet, what?
Sick Heil. No, don't say that. The female equivalent is an e-wallet. Send me an e-wallet.
Well, nowadays, you want me to show something?
You must pay.
You must.
E-wallet.
It's modern day
Hey,
prostitution.
It's OnlyFans. But are you excited about the Olympics? Because that starts today.
Yeah.
I think that's quite lekker.
I'm excited for the Olympics. I think my money's on our shooting team.
Really?
Yeah.
Because here it actually counts. Is that the point?
Do you know, can I just share with you that I don't have a joke for this, but when I went to the Jewish Olympics to play cricket, I know that sounds like a made-up story, but he knows I actually did.
Hobby games.
Yeah. I sat on the bus and there was a German woman next to me, and I said, "What sport?" She said, "What sport are you playing?" And I said, "Cricket." And I said, "What are you competing in?" And she said, and this is not a word of a lie, "Shooting. I am the shooting team. And we just won gold."
At the Jewish Olympics. No.
And in my mind, I was
she had no sense of irony at all.
She is Jewish. She is Jewish.
Wow.
But she's also German.
It's got to be tough. Get back home and do the family celebrate?
That's awkward. that was awkward.
Should they just hand you over to Mossad? What are you going to do?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You know, Drickus is fighting. When is it?
Yes, Drickus is in Perth.
Yeah.
In Australia soon. I think it's happening in September.
And he's fighting who?
Israel Adabaya.
Israel. Let's stop there.
That guy.
He's fighting Israel. Everyone's fighting Israel.
Everyone's fighting Israel.
Even Drickus. I mean, Israel just has no friends. Although Benjamin Netanyahu he was in front of Congress this week and made a brilliant speech, and most of the Democrats weren't even there, so he got standing ovations all around. But they did show Rashida Tlaib sitting in the audience with a sign saying "war criminal" but she was wearing those horned glasses, and she just looked like such a sad.
I don't want to comment on this because the ISIS threat against me is still
a
pending.
thing.
Still pending.
Yeah.
You?
No,
Yeah.
you've actually had you've had shit with those people.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. What you say now, sir?
He didn't say anything. He's just a Jew.
Do
That's
you
how
remember
ISIS
that? Do you
works.
remember that ISIS threatened to bomb me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just saying. Just be
Do you?
careful. You mustn't.
You don't remember?
No, I do remember, guys.
Because
don't.
people don't. They remember the gay pride parade, but not me for some reason.
I think after that shirt, they'll remember. That's a
Just
very
don't
loud.
bring
It's
attention
a
to
very loud
yourself
shirt.
now.
Can I just tell you that I was late this morning because I thought I would walk from the hotel, which is
To here.
3 kilometers away, but I accidentally walked in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh.
So I looked at the Google Maps and was like, oh, now it's 10 minutes further. What's going on? And then I realized I'm now 26 minutes away.
Oh my God.
So I tried to get an Uber, and an Uber X, a 2 kilometer ride was 344
Wait,
rand.
what?
Oh. Is that because it's early in the morning?
Yeah, because of surcharge. So I actually I had to run here.
How much do I owe you?
I haven't run anywhere. I
So
ran
you
to
ran?
the lounge when I was home last
You
week.
ran and ran and ran.
I ran here.
Run,
Three-
baby, run.
Three
I
hours.
don't know what it was.
3 kilometers?
Something like that.
Yes.
Plus,
that's
I ate
pretty
a fit
impressive.
cook on the way.
Wow. Shout out to you.
I didn't.
I saw yesterday at the Woolworths shop at the garage, they sold amagwinya.
Oh, yeah, Woolies has everything. So
Yeah.
now you can buy dombolo, amaquinya, tripe. What else?
But it's bougie trap, eh?
Yeah, it's all like
It's private school.
yeah. It went to the private school, and I'm just like, this is me being in my lazy makoti era. Like, yes, why must I do it?
Please tell Nick about your theory about the church women.
It's
Simphiwe
not-
taught me all about like
Okay.
how it works at a black church, what the hierarchy is,
Yes.
the pecking order, especially among the women. We'll
Yes.
never know this unless
Which
we're there.
church do you go to?
So I go to a black Christian church,
But
right?
like which denomination?
That Abazalwan. It's like,
Abazalwan.
yeah. It's,
Okay.
well, that's how we classify ourselves, right?
Not like Amawesile.
No, because then you still get like Lutheran and whatnot, but like
Lutheran from Schwarzer Reinica. Aren't they German?
no, wait. But in like, if you know typical black churches, they tend to be the whole day, right?
Yeah.
They're supposed to start at 9.
Forget it
end.
if you've got a 4
at
o'clock
12.
appointment. Yeah.
It never
Yeah.
happens, right?
Mm.
You and
It's
then,
like pensioner porn goes on.
yeah, it goes on.
Full
So
place,
you have
4
the
hour
pastor who's here,
Yeah,
right?
he's the boss.
He's the boss. But in black churches, the females are the ones, they're the most attending and they're the ones that run the church. So obviously, second in command, Mam Fundisi. That's
Mhm.
the pastor's wife,
Mm-hmm.
right?
The Rebbitzin.
Yeah. And then under Mam Fundisi, you have the moms, right? Yeah, you have
They're
the
usually in
moms.
the choir as well.
Yes. So you have all the other married ladies,
Seven Gacy's mum.
probably,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, right?
Back in the day.
And then
yeah.
you have the single ladies right under there, and they get shamed for kind of being single if
Yes.
they're over a certain age. And then you have the youth. That's the pecking order.
Yes.
But like in black churches, like there's a certain attire and there's a certain way you must speak. You can't just
Mhm.
address people. Like, you know, you always greet the pastor, the pastor's wife, the leadership, from leadership, the youth, or, you know, the ladies ministry. And then there's also like even the singing, how singing takes place. So when someone's like, you must start a chorus, you know, which is usually a hymn, you know, it's usually the Mam Fundisi that will lead.
Yes. The
Yes.
way you were doing it just now.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I must back you with that, you know. So and then, you know, you carry on, and then like there's also and then like there's someone who's also off beat and off key, and they also going on, and then I want to take over, and then I start leading like Nwele, 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 and then you must come in. That's how black church is. And then if you go to a proper one, wait, I'm gonna have to stand up for this. When they start doing praise and worship, dancing, right?
Yes.
Because we don't twerk at church.
No,
Don't-
hell
don't
no.
really do-
No.
But there's
Not that
there's like
Not if you don't want those
Christians.
women, those married women after
They're gonna
you.
pray for you and take out the demon now. But there's like, you know, Puma Satan.
Satan!
You know what I mean? But like there's like some holy dancing that all the mamas do, right? And this is them.
Yes.
And then you just hear them. That's them. And that's
Wow.
all they do.
Okay, you see now. Listen, you would not have had this education had
And
you
that's a black
decided.
church.
Had
Like
you
5
decided
minutes.
to listen to Bongani Bingwa, would you? No.
No.
You would have been
We didn't have that
proselytized.
at the Reform Shul, I have to say.
You didn't do that at the Reform
Nah.
Shul. No, there was
You know
none of
about
that.
the Reform
But the
Shul?
Mamfundisi is a thing.
It's
eh?
a thing. And
It's a
she
big thing.
you don't want to mess with that lady because she
She
will.
Nah.
basically rules through fear,
Yes.
Yes.
and you will be shunned. And being shunned is the worst thing that can happen.
And if she doesn't like you, right?
Mm.
So you know the sermon
Mm-hmm.
or the pulpit is a place to talk about the Bible,
Yeah.
testify. So if the Mamfundisi doesn't like me,
Mm.
she'll get up there and be like, you know, the Spirit laid it in my heart that today we must pray for all the single ladies that don't wear dogs in here that are not married. And it's very specific to whoever.
Yeah. And
She doesn't like.
and she may even look at you.
Yes, and be
Yes.
like, you know, it has come to our attention that some people are living unrighteous lives, and we don't want to shame anybody.
Guilt.
But you know, if you are a Jezebel wearing a black skirt, and then like they say things like that, and then they like want to pray for you. It gets like, ma'am.
You know, I have delivered such a sermon.
I believe
once.
you. Where?
So I was Desmond Tutu's body double stand-in at now I want to just preface this by saying I did something for the Tutu Foundation. This original thing happened like 10 years ago before cancellation and
Yeah,
stuff. Okay.
sure.
Now I would say the prayer of cancellation before I
Right.
would do a Tutu impression. And
Yeah, because
from-
doing impressions now is completely.
Yeah.
the prayer of cancellation, the book of Job, verse chapter 3, but not Job the guy, but the actual.
It's
Do
in
you
the
wanna
Labour
keep
Relations
working?
Act.
The labor relations. That's the labor relations. So I did this. The Tutu Foundation asked me to come and speak there like 2 weeks ago. It was an auction, and they said, "Please do the Tutu impression." And I
It's
said,
the
"I don't know if I
best.
can do the Tutu
Oh,
impression
it's the
anymore."
best.
But his family were there, and they had said, and so I did it. And the granddaughters were at the table, and the one granddaughter afterwards came up to me, and she was in tears. She was like, "I closed my eyes when I was listening to you. He was there. It was like he was there." And I didn't know what to do. She was bawling, and anyway, but 10 years ago, I gave a sermon for the Comics Choice Awards
Yes.
as
Arch.
as the Arch, and I said some of those things like, let us, Lord Jehovah, please pray for Trevor. Gumbi, not Noah, he's fine. Let's pray for Trevor Gumbi. Blessed to be my Moraga's womb, etc. And it's quite cathartic as the
that.
Mfundisi to deliver.
Oh, I love that.
Be like that at church. It be your own that name and shame you, and you like, Haibo, why am I catching strays in the house of the Lord?
Sanele says Simphiwe sounds like she's been shamed by the Mamfundisi before. That example was too genuine. Listen, are you able to do impressions like as part of a stand-up routine now, or is it really?
No, my friend Kate
because Jesus, you're good
cancels
at
me
them,
on a
man.
weekly basis.
Really?
She's a millennial. Is she? Yeah, she's a millennial. Because you get the older millennials,
Millennials, those are the problem ones.
the ones born between 1980. What year are you?
Yeah, I'm 77.
Okay, so you're not this, but from 80 to 84 are called geriatric millennials.
Oh, is that what
Which
they
is my
call
favorite.
them?
I actually identify as a geriatric millennial. But I'm
Are
not.
those the most sensitive? Because the
they're
Gen
not.
Zs don't give a shit.
No, it's the
They really
millennial
don't.
millennials.
Okay.
So I've got a friend who actually hired a crack team of black lesbian paraplegic fees must fall activist comedy writers, but they were too expensive. So Kate helps me.
Okay, so Kate, you run things by her.
Yeah, and she says you absolutely cannot say that. And then I say it, and then I think maybe she was right.
Oof.
Only if it didn't get a laugh. And then I'm like,
Oof.
yeah, that's.
Kate's hair must be blue, says Percy.
Do you know what? Last night, okay, so I'm ashamed to say, yeah, my first ever gig, I didn't even know it was a gig, right? I'm working for Felix Unit River Rafters.
What is this? Back in
1996. Okay.
Okay.
I was a student.
How
or
did you
whatever.
not know it was a gig?
Because somebody heard me in the kitchen because I was doing the trash and the toilets. That was my job.
Wow. Okay.
And
You started really at the bottom.
Somebody heard me in the kitchen go, oh, and said, hey, you can do a Nelson Mandela impression. We've got a tractor conference tonight for Massey Ferguson.
Tractor
And
conference.
that was my first gig. I got up and did 5 minutes. And it was 1995. Okay. So pro Nelson Mandela impressions were considered woke for their time.
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah.
But in the privacy of my own home, I sometimes still do a Madiba impression for my daughter because there's a book, very lovely kids book called Mr. Mandela and Mr. Hare. Okay. And I'm always like, oh, Mr. Hare, oh, my hair, hello, Mr. Hare. And it's ha ha. And last night, my kids so I'm away and my wife's away, and they are feral, so they look after themselves now. And she sends me a video. Her brother sends me a video of her reading the book, doing the worst Nelson Mandela impression ever. And I'm like, okay, now the risk of me being cancelled, I'm handing over.
So can you do whites, but you can't do blacks?
Some people, I'm not the expert on this, but I think
no, I mean, like, what are the rules? Because we have a treasure trove in you of these pent up, brilliant impersonations of black people that you probably can't do because the cancel.
I think I can get away with very specific, so people will forgive the arch. Also, because his granddaughter gave me her blessing, and she is an actual Mfundisi.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Mpo. She's a reverend in Amsterdam. She's actually married to a Dutch woman.
Yeah.
Which I think is taking reconciliation to the next fucking level.
Oh, I know.
Isn't it?
Not just Afrikaner, but you go to their ancestors.
And marry them.
Ancestors. Yeah, that's very good. But I think we should be allowed to treat ourselves to your brilliant impressions, and I don't want these cancel people getting in the way of that. But whites, you can still do. Hey,
well, do they complain?
Can I do whites?
Do the whites complain?
Do they pull a Karen on you and they're like, "Excuse me"?
Yeah, I read some letters out in this current show.
Oh,
yeah. I've been meaning to tell you since
mail.
I took my 18-year-old daughter to see you. I was squirming with embarrassment in my seat. And this is a fervent plea. I think I've memorized this. This is a fervent plea to reconsider the sexual innuendo aspect of your material.
Really? So you got blue comedy coming in there, huh? This woman had a problem with that. You went a bit blue for her.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Must be tough.
I mean, what kind of people in this day and age have never heard anything slightly off color and been okay with
people
it?
in Schwarzenegger.
No, dude. But I mean, that's crazy. I've seen you doing 90th birthday parties. I've seen you doing.
Oh, that's right.
I've seen you doing massive sellout, like 1,000 and more people in a stadium stuff. I've seen you doing small groups of people. It's you kill them all. That's fantastic. They love
the
you.
90th birthday is always the best. Remember the last one where the birthday boy was so upset about the level of the band, the music, that he assaulted the sound guy.
Because you don't care.
No.
At that age,
no.
You don't care. And suddenly we're back to the old people.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's
Come and
definitely
ride
a
me
theme.
hard, my darling.
There's a theme here. It's just absolutely brilliant. Okay, so we're looking forward to seeing you. And you can see Nik performing live at the Theatre on the Square until the 3rd of August. That's a whole week, eh?
There are no gentlemen left anymore, Simphiwe.
What did you say to her? Why have you upset Simphiwe?
Imagine me entering you from behind, my sweetie pie.
He was texting that.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes, so you were saying about my show. Yeah.
Until the 3rd of August, which is next
just one more week.
Saturday. You've got a whole week. But a whole week is good.
And it's not even a whole week because I think 3 of those are sold to elderly Jewish fundraisers.
Oh, then it's only a few days. Get in, get them get them tickets
now.
quickly.
Get them now.
Okay, so they're available at CompuTicket.
Yes.
Fantastic. Nik, it's always lovely to see you.
It's always lovely. I love this new studio. It's lekker.
And Mo Rabbit says, thank you, Nik, for not being depressing. Do you know why?
Why?
Every single time, she's already laughing, every single time we have a comedian in here, they think it's a shrink session. And they start telling us
their issues,
all their problems,
wow.
all their issues. And listen, a lot of these people are terrific people. So you don't want to be rude and say, You know.
Well, you know what? I think it's sort of trending, isn't it? Because they're watching podcasts and Trevor Noah's saying, you know, I was depressed because of all the money I was making. It was too much money. And then
it's too much money.
Because in Scandinavia, they say that happiness is the space between too much and too little.
Oh.
Which is not meant to be interpreted sexually. But I actually do get into that in my
That's fantastic.
show. And I do talk about my mental health things, but in an uplifting
way. Not in a miserable way. Because I promise you, they all come in here almost to a man, and they I just won't do it anymore.
Well, luckily the antidepressants really kicked in a few months ago. So
also the run, the run that you took.
If you are depressed in Cape Town, people just say you've got to take up trail running and cold water immersions, and gut health is very important. Simply with the gut, because there's another head in your gut, and that releases the dopamine, and a massage from Serge.
That's very Cape Townian.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
Did I forget the breath work?
No.
And the microdosing, the psychedelics, definitely.
Absolutely. Now we've covered it all.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Nik Rabinowitz. We will see you on Monday, bright and early at 6 a.m. Have an awesome weekend. Cheers.
Ik wil naar een warm land.